Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Co-Optional Podcast. It is, as always, Tuesday. We're actually right on time for the first time in at least 2 years, so that's worthy of celebration, is it not?
Oh, come on.
I don't believe that 1 minute. I'm sure in some time zone we're off by a little bit.
I'm looking at it according to my clock, which is synchronized to Windows time server.
It's exactly 12 o'clock.
Yeah.
Is what mine says.
It's not bad, really.
I don't believe it.
It's not too shabby. It must be because there's an air of professionalism and experience here on the show with special guest Jim Sterling. Welcome.
Yay!
Here's how professional I am. When you said it is, as always, Tuesday, I got very confused and thought, but it was Monday yesterday. And now I'm just reeling in confusion.
To me, it's always Tuesday.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to calm down.
To be fair, most of us in the YouTube space don't really need to be concerned with things like schedules and calendars.
Yeah, I actually, being rather self-employed with no office, it's just pajama pants every day until I die.
Yeah. I mean, no pants weekdays, right? No pants every day. I agree.
It's very true. It's understandable. I must be the only person that's ever been on this podcast that is not comfortable with just sitting around in my underwear. I don't know what it is. I like wearing jeans. I'm one of those strange people.
I have to put on socks to eat my dinner.
All right.
I can't eat my dinner barefoot. It makes me feel sick. But
Understand.
I'll put on socks and then I'll take them straight back off.
Business socks is like a completely different thing for you.
It depends on what you're eating.
Understandable.
Your socks have to match the attitude of the food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They gotta
I
match
get
the
it, I
color
understand.
as well. And if I don't have the right pair, I will just put on white socks and pour my pasta sauce all over them.
Right.
Just so I get this sense of coordination, this sense of cohesion, calm work environment.
I mean, they say that your feet connect to everything else in your body, like somewhere in your foot, right? So really, you're tuning your entire body up for what you're about to ingest.
It's very zen. Namaste.
I'm Chat already beat me to the joke. I was going to say TB wears jean socks whenever he does anything, but they beat me to it.
What's a jean sock?
Like socks made
You
of
said you
jeans.
wear jeans all the time.
Why would you wear that?
Because you like jeans. I don't know. Look, it was a dumb joke, and Chat beat me to it. That's all there was to that. There wasn't anything
If
fancy
chat beat
there.
you to it, it probably wasn't a very good joke in the first place, I tend to find.
Wow.
We agree.
Are
Chat.
jean socks an actual thing?
No, that's
God,
why
I
it's
hope
stupid.
not.
I'm imagining denim on my feet, scratching
socks.
against the toenail.
No!
Wait, yeah, denim socks. That's a
Denim
thing.
socks. They are a thing.
I mean, there are results.
Greatland men's casual denim socks from Target. Polo Ralph Lauren socks in denim.
I think they're
That makes me
referring to
feel
denim as a
queasy.
color, though.
They might be, yeah. I don't think the
they're
actual
actually
denim
made
material.
Out of, yeah,
They're
jean
Kevlar
material.
socks. Those exist.
Oh,
It's true.
Very
You need
useful
to
for when you're
protect your
getting
feet.
shot in the toe.
But what sort of food?
Achilles could have used that.
Achilles could
It's
have,
true.
yes.
It's very
If,
true.
if only at that point he had access to Target. Never mind. Jesse, welcome to the show. What's been going on?
Nothing, man. I'm excited to be here. Been a busy week. Lots of stuff happening. Not a lot of gaming. A lot of recording things and long hours. That's about it. So,
And this is the only kind of company you could even say that in, because if you said that to anyone else, it's like, well, what's the difference?
Yeah, well, I did real work this week, which is strange, instead of our work, which is really strange. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. Not a lot I can talk about.
Well, in that case, Dodger, you sometimes leave the house for your job. Welcome to the show.
I do. I have left the house every day for my job. My brother was also in town, so my brother got to see all of the weird things that I do, and he was very confused, much like most people are.
Understandable.
But yeah, I've had a good week since last time, so I'm ready.
Cool.
I'm ready.
Good to know. Hope you're ready for productivity and a reasonable and cogent show. Okay,
Maybe I take it back. Maybe I take it back.
Go a little bit far. All right, what's going up in the show, folks? As usual, we'll start the first hour of the show by talking a little bit about what we have been playing this week, which is a huge amounts, at least for me anyway. It might be just an hour of me talking about Pokemon, but we'll see. We'll see.
Oh God. Oh.
Really?
I know Jim's been playing a bit. I recall that Jim is like, I was at the Escapist Expo with yourself and others, and you disappear. It's like, I'm sorry, I can't go out tonight. I've got to go to my hotel room and play Pokemon. And again, probably the only company that would have accepted that as a reasonable explanation.
It was possibly the only time that's a valid excuse.
Yes.
I've got to go catch a Bulbasaur.
Indeed.
But you
I'm
don't
sorry,
actually
I
catch
just-
a Bulbasaur.
I have to
No.
leave.
No, you do not, in fact, catch a Bulbasaur.
No, that was
Bulbasaur is-
improv gone wrong.
Indeed.
Very
Bulbasaur
dangerous.
is brought to you.
Yes, you actually you bring yourself to Bulbasaur.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I mean, if you follow the plot, then really, one could argue that it was all set up so that you eventually arrived at that destination. So, in theory,
Yeah.
through the planning stage, the Bulbasaur was brought to you.
Bulbasaur, in many ways, was mandated by destiny.
Yes.
It's a fixed thing. You can't fight the Bulbasaur.
No.
The Bulbasaur's going to come to you, and you're going to come to the Bulbasaur because it's all a great convergence.
Yeah. It's this just confluence of
Yeah.
manifestation.
Yes, lots of this.
But yes, that was a lot of my weekend there. In my hotel room.
Stupid is.
In my hotel room with this free little bottle of scotch that the Escapist gave you.
Yes,
just
I didn't get one of those.
Pokemon.
I didn't get one of those.
You
Apparently,
still haven't?
I did not. I was not given a welcome package, I assume, because I'm not part of the Escapists, so I was
You
not
were
given
not
that.
welcome.
Wow.
I was definitely unwelcome at that show.
You should have told me. You could have come up to my hotel room and shared a tiny little bottle of scotch.
That would have been a wonderful
And you
experience
guys
for
could play
about...
Pokemon
Watched
together.
me level
20
up my
seconds.
skitty.
Ah.
Yeah. I caught one of those, and I'm still trying to figure out what the balls it's for.
It makes other Pokemon fall in love with it.
It does.
And it's pink.
It is. It is that too. As it
Two
turns
very
out.
valid options.
No, it is legitimate. Very much
So
so.
jiggly.
I've not met a Jigglypuff as of yet. I'm sure.
It's-
I'll...
Oh, classic.
I've been trying to find an Ekans. Ekans is the best Pokemon. Like, that's just an accepted fact.
That is Squirtle. Squirtle
I
is the
love-
best Pokemon.
I love Ekans as well.
Squirtle's fine for an entry-level thing. It's...
No, he's
It's-
fine for all levels.
I replaced my Froakie with a Squirtle, and I didn't look back. Like, Froakie's just sitting there, it's like, I'm gonna be your best friend forever, I'm gonna be your highest level Pokemon. And then immediately, I trade out some crappy level 2 bug thing for this ridiculously overpowered Farfetch that just sits there beating up everything. Which is great, because the first gym you go to is nothing but bug Pokemon. So it's like, Aerial Ace, Aerial Ace, Aerial Ace. Everything dies. So Froakie's kind of relegated to the punching bag. And then I just put him in the box after I get Squirtle, and he's been there ever since.
I'm still keeping my Beedrill, though. Beedrill's legit. Mm-hmm. It's a bee with drills.
You can't complain about that. I mean, that's, of the Pokemon designs, especially compared to the legacy of, I think it was Pokemon Black's Ice Cream Pokemon, I think Beedrill's a pretty damn good design.
Yeah, actually, the new Pokemon I thought were very well designed. The eagle that's also a luchador wrestler.
Yeah, I
is
noticed that.
Beautiful.
That was a little strange. But, so far, I've got to say, it's the same bloody game I played 20 years ago.
I was about to say, like, it's amazing that this is the #1 topic almost like 20 years after the initial game. Like, it's crazy old. Like 106 years ago, in Civil War times, they were playing Stixie's Pokemon. Like, oh, I got me. Wait, why do they sound like that?
I'm pretty sure they don't sound like that.
Oh,
Oh, I have to look at this.
oh,
Have a gander.
That's exactly right.
Yes.
That's what happened.
Right.
Yep.
Yes. More of that.
Thank
They
God
don't
for
talk
that.
about that in ancient Egypt.
That's actually why that is why the pyramids were built. The pharaoh was like, I gotta catch them all, and he started with the Jews. Boom! You're welcome, internet.
Good start to the show there, only 9 minutes before the racial jokes come out. That's actually not bad. I think that's on average 2 minutes longer than what we usually go for, so that's alright.
Yeah, I think so.
Not too shabby. Well done. Well done,
I
Jesse.
do feel like everybody that I know is playing Pokemon though. Like I honestly don't have any desire to play it, and everybody's like, "No, you have to play it. You don't understand. So many things are different." I'm
No,
like,
it is. No, it's not. They're not at all. Like
Oh yeah, like I love it. I absolutely love the shit out of it. But any of the reviews saying, "Oh, it's all new," they're liars and charlatans. and
bollocks.
things.
Bollocks. It is.
You can brush your Pokemon now.
yeah,
But I
which
can
is-
also do that in Harvest Moon.
there's
so
a
I'm good.
crap ton of useless mini games that they throw at you to have. It's like, hey, train your Pokemon up a little bit more. Keep hitting the bag over and over and over again. Thankfully, your Pokemon kind of do that on their own accord, but maybe only once every 2 minutes. So you can use it to sort of buff up a Pokemon in the background. But if you really want to actually get that training done, you've got to hammer the bag for a while. And it is the most repetitive, horrible bullshit. And frankly, the game is the same bloody game. You still have 4 moves, you've still got the same kind of setup, and adding things like the ability to stroke Pikachu and feed it big balls of sugar so it gets type 2 diabetes is not what I was looking for from my new Pokemon experience.
I actually wanted to shove my sugary big balls in Pikachu's mouth, so I'm actually pleased. I'm shoving the balls in and stroking him off. It's fantastic. That to me is the revolution.
You're just gonna hammer the bag. This is all you do on the show. This is the only reason you're here, Brooke, is to tweet bullshit from the show during the show.
Look, it made me laugh, and I was like, I'm not gonna just halt the conversation to be like, that's a masturbation joke. So I just decided to tweet it instead.
Well, you just gotta hammer the bag for a while. What could I say?
Like, you just gotta hammer the bag.
Just give it a good hammering.
That's the least
Only way to
sexy
get
way
through
of
the
talking
day.
about masturbation. You just gotta hammer the bag. You just gotta hammer pushing balls. Like,
Oh, God.
entirely unattractive.
I take great offense. Some people, that's the only way they can get off, Jesse. I'm a little bit
Because
offended.
you have to hammer the bag.
Jesse,
yeah.
you're so
I'm a little bit
insensitive.
hurt.
Some
The
people have
problem
to
is,
knock
so are
out the
they.
juice. Some people have to hammer the bag.
Next time you see me, just stand above me, let those bad boys swing, and I'll just go like this. I'll hammer them. I'll hammer them for you.
It only really works for me if you're doing a Popeye voice as you do it.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah,
Of course, of course.
spinach optional, but preferred.
Oh, I have a pipe filled with spinach, and I blow it up. I blow it up on your
Oh,
balls.
Jesse,
As
fill my pipe with spinach.
I thought you'd never ask.
So as
This is a good start. This is a
I'm
good
bringing the
start.
professionalism to
Yeah,
the show.
obviously. It's beautiful. Yeah, I'm playing the Pokemon game kind of in short spurts, I suppose. It's, I'll play maybe 10 to 20 minutes of it. It's like, oh, there's a new Pokemon to catch. Let's catch the Pokemon. Shall I put it in my party or shall I put it in the box? And then move on, fight some more stuff. I like XP share, and I'm very happy that that's there, and it should have been there 10 bloody years ago.
Actually, it was. I believe it was in earlier ones, but the thing that X and Y does is they give you this shit like
Very early on.
very early on, like
Yeah.
when you should have it. Like
Yes.
you're not playing half the game until you get the bicycle, and before that you get the new rollerblades. And
Yeah, you get those
it's a
almost
lot more
immediately.
streamlined.
And it's really nice because it's just like, hey, we don't really want to waste your time, even though the rest of the game is definitely a waste of time. But we're going to make it as easy for you as possible.
Yeah, like they
And
know what you're
like
there
that.
for. You're there to walk around in the grass in your shorts, tossing your balls at magic dogs. That's what you're there for.
Yep.
They're not going to waste your time and everything. But
And all credit to them, they do the whole thing very well. It as a toss my magic balls at magic dogs kind of thing, it's fantastic. It does it well. The thing is, it also did it well 20 years ago in that respect. It's just- I do like the aesthetic. It gives me a very Dragon Quest VIII kind of vibe, and it's a massive improvement over the previous titles. And I'm very surprised it's taken this long for the graphics style and fidelity to evolve to this point.
well, they never really needed to, and
No.
they didn't even need to do it here. They could have. It's one of those companies that could really just give us the same old boilerplate guff every time. But at least they cared enough to kind of give us an all new look and everything, and that's what really appealed to me because I always say this, I'm a fan of Dynasty Warriors, so I'm not this big fan of innovation, and I don't feel like innovation is necessary. Keep doing what you've always done, just so long as you do it well, as long as it's done good. And I think Pokemon X and Y does it, like, it just delivers exactly what you want.
I just want to point out, all geniuses are fans of Dynasty Warriors.
Yeah.
Everyone,
again.
every intelligent gamer loves that series.
Have I
Why?
stepped into heaven?
I'm telling you, every time I meet someone new and they're like, Dynasty Warriors, man, that's the best. I'm like,
Best
another
friends
loss,
forever.
another
Is that
lost
how-
soul.
Is that how geniuses sound? Dynasty Warriors, man, it's the best.
It's the best game in the world.
ECW.
I mean, that's true. Einstein spent a good 3 years going on about Dynasty Warriors 8. He would not shut up.
I heard that Summer Yi was his main.
It's true. It's true. It's true.
Carl Sagan is an unlockable warrior in Dynasty Warriors at this point.
Yes.
Yes, Dynasty Warriors. Fantastic franchise. That's the same game every time. You don't even care. Boom. Buy it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's Pokemon, I suppose, as it currently stands. Jesse and Dodger, I assume you have not played it yet.
No, I
probably won't.
You've
I'm
been
an
a
old
little
man.
busy with your favorite man in the universe, Mr. David Cage.
I have been busy with David. I'm so glad it was everything I expected in the halfway through it just fuck it department. I love that about him. He doesn't care. He doesn't care. So I'm not.
Do I need to get my spoiler warning thing out again?
No.
Okay.
No, I'll just say every David Cage game
There are no
is
spoilers. If you've seen any movie, then you've seen Beyond.
It's true. It's true. No, I mean, if you played any David Cage game, you know 3 things are going to happen. One, there's going to be an obligatory sex scene. There's going to be a scene that's it's like a battle scene, but it takes 25 minutes to get through. And then there's going to be a scene where the game, you're like, oh, this has some supernatural elements. And then it just kicks it up to 12. And David Cage is like, enjoy the supernatural, bitch. And it makes no sense anymore. That's what we got. It's exactly what all of his other games are.
I wish that's how David Cage actually sounded.
Oh.
I'd love him a lot more if he came out at E3 and was just like, enjoy the supernatural, bitch.
Here's the thing. Is
You are ghost now, son.
He pretty much did that though. If you saw his thing, everyone's talking about their great new things for PS4, and David Cage walks out on stage and goes, "These are the games that I have made," and shows you a list of games. He goes, "Now here is a head," and it's just a man's head, and the crowd's like, "Holy shit!" And David Cage walks off stage. And it's like, that man's a fucking G. He just owned everyone and did nothing. That's why I love him, because he's
I'm
a
with you on
pompous
the
ass of awesome.
He's I have an interesting history with David Cage.
He's everyone I
Do
know.
tell.
Yes, go on.
Everyone I know who has met him, so I assume your story's gonna be like this. Everyone I know who has met him has been like, he's the biggest asshole I've ever met. Everyone. There's not one good thing. I like that guy.
I met him through someone else. My editor-in-chief at Destructoid at the time, Nick Chester, was interviewing him for something. And this was just after I'd reviewed Heavy Rain, and I gave it a 7 out of 10, which is a good score. Mm-hmm. Not good enough for Monsieur Cage. Not good enough. The interview that was supposed to take place, which never got published, because my EIC couldn't ask him any questions, because he sat him down and was just like, why did your reviewer give this game such a bad score? Look at the Metacritic. Everybody loves it. This is clearly an important and emotional game. Like that for just an hour. And that's him. The man can't take criticism. He believes himself to be an auteur, but he's not. He's a talented man. Do not get me wrong. I'm actually glad he's in the industry. I'm just not glad that he is in this industry without fetters, that he's this unchained ego running rampant and roughshod over his development.
I
with
love
these
that.
half-baked ideas. The man's George Lucas. He'd probably take that as a compliment. That's the kind of man he is.
Mm-hmm. I know the girl who I'm trying to think. Was it Kara? Was that the name of the one about the robot?
Yes. Yeah.
I know the girl who was the actress of that, and so even talking to her, everyone's just he kind of has an ego. I'm like, oh, I love that about him. That he's just fucking. He's so look, the man I think is clinically insane, and I think that's the best. That's the best thing I could ask for. I want a crazy person making video games that are like, I'm going to spend $12 billion to make this, and it will make no fucking sense. Yes.
One of the few things I liked about Beyond was actually its budget wasn't that bad. It's I think it was 27 million, which
That's not
is
too
insane.
shabby.
It's insane to humans, but in the world of AAA game making, that's not bad at all, considering he had Willem Dafoe and Alan Page and
That's
stuff.
1/10 of a Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, Willem Dafoe, criminally underused. That's another bone of contention. That's something else that's wrong with Cage. Not once did he go, bah! What's the point?
That's fair.
It's the game definitely has. It's a lot of hit and miss, but that's every David Cage game. Every David Cage game is hit and miss. Like, there's moments where you're like, God damn, this game's amazing, and there are moments where you're like, this is the silliest fucking thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
I wouldn't necessarily have called Fahrenheit hit and miss. I'd have called it a game of two halves where the dog ate the script halfway through and it went batshit insane after having what was otherwise a fairly good murder mystery plot going on.
Oh, I'd say the same thing about Beyond Two Souls. I'd say the exact same thing. It's the exact same approach.
He tried to trick us this time because he's doing that whole disruptive narrative thing where it's like you start the game, she's 10 years old, then you skip forward and she's like in her late 20s, and then it skips back and forth, all these random things.
That's my biggest problem with that game.
That's what I like the most. I like
so
the most about that game.
Yeah.
It's like he discovered a way to have all these different disconnected scenes without putting in the effort required to explain how she's in this place at this time. It's like, I don't need characterization anymore. I'm sorry.
No, by all means, Jim. Don't worry. Jesse gets to talk every week. He's not important. It's okay.
No, I think I was going to say that I actually like the disjointed parts because I like discovering, oh, she knows, like, this is how this got to this and this and this and this. But I think your point about him being lazy and not saying how she got there is totally accurate. Like, there are moments where you're just like, why is she here? And not until you're done with an hour and a half of story, you're like, oh, well, I get that connects to a point in her life. Like, that's why she's telling this moment. But I think
it's only loose at best.
Yeah, his get out of jail free card on all that is the beginning where he's like, I'm Ellen Page and I'm going to tell you points of my life that really matter to me. Like, that's the intro of the game. And it's like, all right, I guess you can get away with that. But you're right, that is really lazy storytelling.
And it also allows him to escape the criticism of having the second half of the game being shit and weird. Because if he takes half of that shitty half and puts it in the first half and the good half in the other one, he's like, I'm a genius. No one will scupper me this time. He says, twirling a moustache that all Frenchmen have, but he doesn't. But he has.
Right, of course.
He just
his beret.
paints over it, so you can't see it.
For me,
I will. Oh.
I was going to say, for me, I really liked Heavy Rain, yeah? I'll attest to that, which sounds a bit weird for me, but it may be something that we kind of get onto later, considering we've got that little news story to cover. But the reason I think I like Heavy Rain more than I like Beyond so far, I'm about 4 hours into Beyond, and I like some parts of it, but Heavy Rain was constantly moving forward, and it always felt immediate and urgent, because you were dealing with the fact, oh crap, a kid got kidnapped. He's probably going to die unless I do the things which I have to do in order to stop that from happening. So it was constantly moving forward. It was paced, and I think it was paced in a really good way as well. And every now and again, it had a little aside, and that was fine. But with Beyond, that isn't there because you start here, and then you go here, and then you're there, and then you're over here. And I'm like, well, where's the impetus to keep going forward aside from, I want to find out the rest of the story? That's not enough for me.
There's no character development either. There's the one character. I'll be as vague as I can so I don't spoil anything. There's one character who is introduced to us as this asshole. Just this asshole. There's nothing to like about him. Later on, we skip several years later, and Jodie is telling us through, she's talking to Aiden, the ghost guy. She's talking to him and just saying how warm and funny and brilliant he is, and that she might be falling for him. And we've seen no evidence of this, and we see no evidence later of this. He's still the same character because no one ever develops.
That's actually, I think I did that episode 2 or 3, maybe 2 days ago, where I think it's more enjoyable when you've been playing a game and as Aiden, where you're like, why would you be into this guy? Like, if you're doing a playthrough of it and you're becoming a character, you're like, why would you be into this guy? It makes no sense, because you're absolutely right. The character you're talking about is an asshole to her every time they meet. And even in scenes where they aren't necessarily, where they're working together, if you go into that Aiden world thing, you can go watch him have conversations where he's like, he literally is just like, screw her, whatever. And it's like, wait, what? What? Hold on. It's definitely, there's a lot of moments like that where things in her life are just like this. Oh, you.
It's just the trouble with a lot of Cage's narrative is we're never shown things. This is supposed to be a crime of storytelling. We have to be told everything. A character has to, as good as, hold the camera and just say, this is what is happening now. That's supposed to be a story. That's a story.
If you want the exact opposite, and I would recommend it, go see Gravity. Gravity is a movie.
Yeah. I'm told that's just mind-blowingly great.
Gravity
Oh
is a
God, it's
movie
so good.
that doesn't tell you like it gives you plot information, but it doesn't tell you all the mundane shit of like space travel. You know, in most movies they'd be like, we have to turn on the oxygen tubes and the canisters. Like literally, they just do it, and you're smart enough to fucking realize that's what they're doing. And it's like, oh, thank you for not wasting our time with superficial BS and getting just to the story. It's flawless. I was like, that is a fantastic movie. Go watch it.
I need to go see it.
I got some friends seeing it tonight, but I can't go because there's that little short thing that lives in my house and I have to pay to have here. I'll look after that thing. It's like a Pokemon, but there's no love there.
Ah, all right.
You can't store it in a ball when you're sick of it, unfortunately.
Exactly.
I can understand. Yeah, I'll try and kind of force myself to the end of Beyond. I don't really feel compelled to do it, which is unfortunate because this time around, the way that he deals with interacting with objects in the world is the most interesting way so far that he's done it, outside of that one awesome fucking scene in Fahrenheit where you're hiding all the stuff in your apartment as the guy in a picture-in-picture is knocking on your door, which to me is that was basically the best bit of Fahrenheit to me. And it's like, wow, if only the rest of the game was actually like that. The way that you have to think in that game is so interesting.
That's always been my problem with, like, I love the idea of Quantic Dream games. And as I said, I bag on David Cage a lot because a lot of what he says is like something an alien would say.
That's what I love him for. Yeah.
But I do respect his talent, which he does have. I just think very much like George Lucas, he would benefit from someone who just stood behind him with a rolled up newspaper and just like every 20 minutes just hit him and just said, no! And just to keep him on the straight and narrow, just some Pavlovian way of turning all that mad energy into something cohesive and good. Like, say, Vince Russo when he went from WWF to WCW and had his own thing and fucked everything up. So
he reminds me a lot of one of my friends is really into David Lynch, right? Like David Lynch movies, every once in a while you're like, oh, that was really good. And every once in a while you're like, what the fuck did I just watch? And I think recently he did the new music video for 9 Inch Nails ? I think that's what he just did. Go look that up on the internet whenever you have free time in the future, world. It's just like David Lynch 9 Inch Nails. It's the newest music video. It is literally unwatchable. It is constant red and white flashes with like weird bugs shapes and like weird mushroom men walking, but it's constant like you will have a seizure and die. My head hurt for like an hour and a half afterwards. It makes no sense. It is horrible. And it's what like who let him do this? Money was spent on this.
I like a lot of Lynch's work. I like a lot of David Lynch's work because I feel like he knows the medium, and so he knows how to be weird with it. If you know something, it's like Spinal Tap. In order to be that shit at music, you got to be really good at music.
Yeah.
You know? You got to be good enough to know how to be bad but entertaining. And I feel David Lynch can do that with weirdness. Like, he knows the medium of film enough to where he can, you know, like Twin Peaks, I adore the hell out of Twin Peaks. Because it feels like it knows exactly what its own format is and just constantly subverts that. With David Cage, I don't feel he knows enough about movies or games. He clearly loves movies. He loves film. This is the guy who put himself in Indigo Prophecy's tutorial in a film director's chair.
Yep.
You know, he loves them. I don't know if he knows them because I've always tried to imagine his games as movies, and all I see is Roger Ebert just laughing so hard. His face is just bright red, and he's sweating like he's eating a curry or something, and he's just pointing like he's an inch away from David Cage's face, and he's just like that.
The beautiful thing is that, you know, obviously before Ebert passed away, when he did have that controversial opinion for a while that, no, you know, games are not art in the same way that movies are. And he was kind of coming around to the idea that he might be wrong there, but it wasn't because of David Cage's games. No, not at all. That is not what bridged the gap there, even if they are basically interactive movies.
Yeah, I said of Heavy Rain, like, as I said, 7 out of 10, I liked Heavy Rain enough. But I've always said it's lucky it was a game. It's lucky it was a game where the standards are clearly lower than they should be, because we have way better examples, but whenever a game critic gets the sense that something is trying to be different, they will fawn on it just out of desperation for something different to Forno. But so he's lucky that standards are that low he could get away with it. If Heavy Rain, if Beyond were films, like, I mean, God, Willem Dafoe is starting some crap, but he can't think what he did was good.
Yeah, I think that seems to be the way of it. Dodger, what have you been playing this week exactly, aside from with that pesky cat that is trying to interrupt your presentation today?
I'm sorry, I kept seeing a bug crawling on her, and I was like, but then it would hide in her fur, and so I kept trying to like grab her and like find the bug, because if it's a flea, I want to know that there are fleas in my house.
Did your cookie clicker experience help you in that?
My cookie clicker? What does that mean?
Oh wow, you've never played it.
What?
That's incredible. You must be the only person that I know that hasn't played that stupid fucking game.
I haven't. Cookie clicker? I don't even know what that is.
Cookie clicker? What do you mean? What is that?
It's the Heavy Rain of video games.
Oh shit! Is it?
Mm-hmm.
Is
Cookie
the story
clicker.
that crazy?
Cookie clicker.
Actually,
yes.
the story,
Wait, it's an actual. The game is called Cookie Clicker.
Yeah, I wasn't kidding.
What? Wait.
the story actually is crazy. If you click enough cookies, you get a story. It's
You are a liar. You're gonna make me cook on clickies. Click on cookies. Whatever.
Well
I'm
done.
doing.
if you cook all the clickers, then something
You
good
cook all
will
the
happen.
cookies.
You cook all.
I guarantee you can take that to the bank. It's a wonderful game.
How is this a game? I literally.
How
never
is
seen-
Beyond a game? If Beyond can be a game, Clicky Clucker can be a game.
I click the cookie. Okay,
Is that
well,
literally?
click, 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 click.
It's the kind of thing where you click on it for like 10 minutes and you think this
Wait,
is
what?
shit. 10
God.
like hours later, you're still thinking this is shit, but you're still clicking. And then it's like, oh, I've got to get a new cookie farm.
Yeah, it's like there's like stuff coming up at the top, like your family accepted some of your cookies.
This is
Your first-
wonderful. Being
your
able to
back
see
is
Cookie
thrown
Clicker's
out.
production live.
Indeed.
It's like playing Diablo 3.
It's exactly like that.
Your
Except
cookies are
Clicker-
popular in the neighborhood.
Well, the
Yeah,
funny
Cookie
thing
Clicker,
about
better story though.
The funny
Better
thing about Cookie Clicker is that's kind of what it is. It's like Half Minute Hero, that old PSP game, where
Yes.
it just boils down video games to what they actually are.
Yes.
I'm
Which is
clicking
running
and getting
face first
better.
into monsters for levels.
Yeah.
I just want to do one thing and get a reward. Click, 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 click.
It's the essence of Skinner Box, I
yes.
suppose.
Video games have turned us all into rats that press buttons for cheese.
Yeah.
That's what we are. That's what we look like. We just cook cookies
Yeah.
until we're satisfied.
Gotta cook them clickies.
Indeed. So what have you been playing this week, Dodger?
I played all of Wolf Among Us.
Yes, indeed. What did you
You know,
think?
it was only a couple hours, so
Yeah.
I really liked it. There are some things that, because I did a playthrough of it on my channel, and there were some things that I kept saying, like, I'm really confused by this, or like, I don't know what this is, and then people who have read more of the comic books were able to kind of chime in, and I feel like maybe some of those details should have been in the game without it feeling like an anime where they're like, well, you know, we do live in this city that we built that one time because of a natural disaster. Don't you know that, child?
No, I actually agree with you on that. I think
Yeah.
that's one of the things in the story that kind of pissed me off. And it's the same thing that a lot of like people do now in games where it's like, no, read the other source material. We don't need to tell you. Like, not everyone's gonna go buy your damn books or watch your movies or do whatever it is. Like, just give us like a little tidbit or throw something in there like The Witcher. They were like, you know what? Let's throw in a movie that explains everything that happened in the last two games. I'm okay with that. That works for me. Put it in the content you're giving me.
I'm
that I
going to
just
be the
bought.
voice of dissension on this one. I believe that actually that lack of context is very good for someone that hasn't read that stuff before, because it got me very, very interested in
That is
the
true.
game, the source material that it was based on. And if Telltale does it right over the next 5 episodes, you'll probably be able to discover that information if you look for it. Even in
Yeah.
episode 1, there's a decent amount of backstory that you can find for the characters, and you'll get some idea of why things are the way they are. You're not given the complete picture, but I think you're given enough to titillate you and just keep you interested. And
And I think like you figure out more and more the more that you play it, because it seems as though there are so many different ways that game can go, like lots of different pieces of information that you can get only if you play it a certain way.
yes.
Which has interested me in playing it more. And obviously, like, I loved I loved the art style, and I thought that it did really well with kind of the noir feel of the books, which I have not read much of. But yeah, I really, really enjoyed it. I just wish that specifically, I wish that there was something that explained why fables are hard to kill. That was explained to me many, many times in the comment section, which I will not say in case you don't want to know. But yeah.
I just love the fact that 4 minutes into the game, I have Toad from Toad Hall swearing his fucking head off at me. That's
I
just
know,
brilliant.
that was amazing. I was like, oh.
I didn't know that. I've not played it. I've had it downloaded since launch. And this conversation was already painful. And you saying that, you son of a bitch. I want to see him do the swearing.
He does a lot of it. He does a lot of it.
I might just quit now and go play.
And I wouldn't blame you. You could probably finish it before the end of the show and then just come back. You'd just be like silent for the next couple of hours and occasionally exclamations of shock and horror. But like that game, I feel that I am more interested in this game than I was in The Walking Dead. I liked the first episode of The Walking Dead. I played a little bit more of it and I had no desire to really go any further with it. And I know most people just beat the whole thing. But I really wasn't on the hype train for that because I don't find The Walking Dead to be a compelling universe. I really
I'm the exact
don't.
opposite.
Yeah, you do, and you can feel
like
free to
that.
explain why. I don't find the idea of the post-apocalyptic zombie survival thing with barely any zombies in it to actually be an interesting way of doing things. And I mean, I watched maybe 5 episodes of the series on TV, and I'm just like, this is glacially paced.
I've got a real problem with the TV series.
Yeah.
It comes to something.
Oh, I like it a lot.
Like, I did watch up to season 3, and it comes to something to me to where the most likable character, the character you're rooting for to win, is the violent racist. Like, that to me, like, I'm on his side.
Because
Is
everyone
he
else is
racist?
just boring.
Yeah, I'll pretend I didn't hear that bit about him being racist. He's good. He's Michael Rooker. He's all right. And because the other ones are basically villains, just self-centered, moronic chodes. I did not watch the last
use
half
of the
of
word
season
chode.
3. I just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of the same way that I felt about the game, unfortunately. It's like, I like the fact that what you are doing is trying to blend narrative, dialogue tree-based gaming with some basic point-and-click stuff and occasional QTEs. I'm fine with occasional QTEs. I don't mind, especially not in a game where they're clearly not trying to develop the mechanics beyond that. But the world wasn't compelling enough to really keep me interested in playing. Whereas this, I beat the whole bloody thing in one session, and I am aching to see the next one, especially considering it ended in a fantastic way.
Oh,
And
the end was so good.
Yes.
And I agree that I had way more fun playing this than I did playing the first chapter of The Walking Dead, for sure. I was like, oh, this is really fun, I thought. So, yeah, I'm really excited to play the rest of it. And I agree with you. I think the ending was great. It was a really good way to end it.
So, Jesse, you played it as well, right?
Yeah. I think it deserves a chance because you're right. This was a really great start to it, and I would agree that the start to Walking Dead was a little slow, but I don't know. I think it's just difference of opinion. I thought this was fine. I just like the Walking Dead universe more. And it's obvious that it's one of those things like it's something I can't convince you on. It's your
Well,
personal
can you
opinion,
identify
like,
why it is that you're interested in it?
I'm just a sucker for the world's ending, but the bad guys are the humans. I don't know why. It's a really stupid, really cheap way to go about storytelling, but I like it.
It's
I
very
like
classic. It's a Dynasty Warriors level plot. We've seen it a dozen times before, but if you do it well, you do it well.
Yeah, and I like that.
Only with slightly more advanced gameplay, right?
Oh, pretty much, yeah. No, I
liked the Telltale Walking Dead. Like, that was my game of the year, actually. But the universe doesn't appeal to me the way it does to you, Jesse. But I love the game.
Yeah, it's definitely. I'm willing to give the Fable universe a chance, but I mean, I don't know anything about it, and I think that for me, there's a fine line between piquing my interest in going off to explore things and like get that expanded universe stuff, or just confusion and not caring. It's a real fine line because it takes me a while to get into something. If I don't get answers right away, I don't run off and go explore. I'm like, I'll give it a chance to explain it to me, but if it doesn't, then F it. Like, I really got into WoW stuff because stuff didn't explain it to me, but I had been in the game for 2 years at this point, so I was like, I might as well know what the hell is going on in this damn game. So I went and like wow wikied that thing or whatever it was, Wowpedia at the time. And so that's why I know far too damn much about that game. But I mean, I feel like I'll give it a chance, but I don't know. I think the realism of just people, it's much easier to connect to. Even though, with that said, I think the characters that we meet already in Fable are more interesting. I'll give it that. I'll say
Well, there's
that,
a fucking frog. And
Yeah, like I don't want to give away too much.
Don't
Yeah.
remind me of the
There's a
sweary
frog.
frog again.
there's a frog.
Oh.
And he wears trousers. And he
Yeah.
swears a lot. And
He
he's
wears
British.
trousers?
He wears trousers.
I want to see the frog with the trousers and the
But
Yeah. And you
as-
get to do the same thing, like if any of you, none of you guys probably did, but if any of you viewers who watched Once Upon a Time and you sit around going, I wonder who you are, you get to do the same thing. Love it. Love
Yes,
that.
yes. It's like,
That's
I wonder
always
which
fun for
fairy
me.
tale you happen to be. And sometimes it's obvious, and sometimes they try and hide it a little bit, and you get a little reveal later on. It's very satisfying to see. And there's some really good either-or choices in that game as well. There are several either-or choices that do have fairly obvious consequences. I guess we'll have to see by the time we get to episode 5 whether or not any of those made a blind bit of difference.
I think you just hit the nail on the head of why I have a little disconnect. In Walking Dead, because the characters are all human, and like there's a little kid, and there are all these different things like going on. I feel a little bit more like, ooh, what should I do with these choices? Because these are fairy tales, I'm like, fuck it, let's do this. Let's see what happens. And it's because I just maybe there's disconnect.
Because you
there.
don't care? I mean, because, like, oh, I'm not caring to kind of a human character or whatever.
Yeah, maybe that's the thing I have.
It
that I
doesn't
just
help
never
as
knew.
well that it's like, oh yeah, Fable's are really hard to kill. They can take tons of abuse. Like, well, fuck him then.
Yeah, I'm just like, you know what? Let's see what this does. And it isn't even like I don't sit there for like a minute, like, oh, what do I do? Oh, it's not like, do I give them the food so they can live? Or like, oh, what if Clemmy's? Oh no, like there's none of that. It's like, fuck it, let's do it. And I just go, and that's what happens.
That's a
I think you
good
get it,
point.
yeah.
I can't really argue with that. It does seem to maybe have less consequence than you might think. Admittedly, kind of by the end of it, I think you'll find at least one moment where you're like, oh well, shit, that. But
Yeah, for
and it does a
sure.
good job of summing it up at the end as well. Also, I don't know if this was in Walking Dead as well, but it tells you like the percentage of people that did certain things versus you, which is quite nice.
Oh my gosh, I was in such a low percentage of people on like every choice I made. Everybody,
That's awesome.
man, I was getting so many comments being like, did you go into this game planning on doing all of the like dickish things? And I was like, I didn't. I didn't do I didn't
You're
do
just a
entirely
dick.
dickish
You're
things.
just a dick.
Look, in my mind, Bigby is a dick of gold. He's a dick with a heart of gold. And I figure,
A dick of gold.
He's a
All right,
dick of
that's something
gold.
that needs
That's
to be
what I
added to
called
Jim's
him.
collection.
yeah. So
putting
I
in my
figure,
order right now.
You know, a dick of gold would be kind of a douche sometimes, but when it came down to it, he would be nice. And
So
that's
it's
how I
Han Solo.
played
As
him.
dick as a douche.
Huh?
He's Han Solo.
Dicks and douches have some similarities.
What the shit are you talking about?
Look,
Not
let's
at
move
all.
on.
Not
Let's
at all.
move on.
In some circumstances, yes, but
Thank you. See, I don't want to explain it, Jesse.
Oh no!
But-
Oh no! I'd rather you explain that part.
Jesse's
That
innocent
internet
mind is
gold.
being corrupted as we
Like,
speak.
What?
Let's not.
Go on.
But yeah, so everybody kept saying that I was being kind of a dick, but I feel like I played true to how I saw the character, and it turned out that I was in the very low percentage of people doing things. And there were some times when you would say dickish things and no like little thingy would pop up, and then a couple of times I would be like, yo, fuck you. And then it would be like, so-and-so will remember that you said that. And I'm like, no, come on.
I like the fact as well that there's some parts where the only way to not piss somebody off is to shut the fuck up. That's
Yeah,
nice. It's like,
just like not...
oh yeah. And it reminds you at the
I like
start,
that
silence is a
mechanic a lot.
valid choice. Mm-hmm. And
I
it's
like
like,
that
oh.
a lot. That
Is
you
this
don't have
Twitter
to-
the game?
Yeah, it actually
Pretty
is.
much. Pretty much.
Your followers will remember that.
Your followers will remember you said that.
Indeed.
Telltale, we got your next game for you. Don't worry. You only have to
That'd
pay
be-
us $8 million.
Yeah. You don't get 200,000 followers without making a few enemies. Telltale's Twitter in 5 parts.
Oh, here's the thing though. You play as the ghostwriter for a celebrity in your Twitter. So you have to keep there fan base happy, but you're not the person. And you have to mitigate what crazy shit they do. Boom, game done.
You
They
play
tell
as
you to
Twitter.
tweet things, and you have to find like a way of interpreting what they'd say that's less racist than what they actually said.
Right. Yeah.
But it's also
a way
true to
that-
them, so people don't figure out he's not writing it.
Exactly.
That's a fucking game right
That's a
there.
great game idea.
Yeah.
Guys.
I reckon the cookie clicker guys will be all over that.
I have no
Work on
doubt.
this.
Your village really likes your tweets. That's an awesome idea.
Oh no! It's like a futuristic version of Virtual Villager. Played in real time. Everyone will
Indeed.
read your Twitter.
Sounds horrible.
So I play-
The first time I played that game, I was just so upset. Sorry, what?
I was going to say, I did play something whose NDA just came up today, which is Magical Wizard Wars.
Oh! How is that?
How was that?
It is a lot of fun, I gotta say. They kept all the bits that I like from Magicka, including blowing up your own team, and put it into a competitive multiplayer game in an engine that isn't rubbish. They ported the whole damn thing to BitSquid instead of the whatever unholy, godforsaken amalgamation of nonsense that Magicka originally ran on, the game that wouldn't run on laptops and integrated graphics cards for no good reason whatsoever. And they put it in, I think they call it a MOBA, and it's the dumbest fucking thing because it isn't in any way. It doesn't even, it doesn't have the same kind of map that Dota or League of Legends has. Right now, it's basically a 3-point domination mode with 2 teams of 4 wizards each, and capturing the points will also give you a spawn point. And you are able to use all the magic elements that you were able to get from the original game, but you can only combo 3 together now instead of 5. Which makes it a little bit quicker, makes it a little bit more immediate, and also means that learning stuff's a little easier. And as you do damage, you unlock one of 4, well, you can unlock up to 4 Magickas at once, which are kind of powerful preset spells like Meteor Storm and Grim Reaper that you then press your hotkey button to summon. And it's just chaotic nonsense. It's so
Which I'm sure is
much-
exactly what they were aiming for.
Exactly. Yeah. The fact that they even let you kill your own team is funny because there's no way this is going to fly in the Dota or League of Legends community because all people will do is that. But if you're playing with friends, the sheer amount of mishaps that can occur, right, where you, say, accidentally create a shield which causes your friend's massive fireball to bounce off it directly back into his face is just perfect. It's so
Yes.
much fun. It really is.
You don't get that enough in games, just the sense of escalation of things going wrong.
Yes.
That was always the appeal of Left 4 Dead when it first came out, just that sense of, okay, this is all fine, and then just something goes wrong, and then it goes wronger, and like, you don't get enough, like, games are rife for that, like, especially cooperative games, this sense that you're all suffering together. It was always my favourite part of stuff like D&D and whatnot, when
Yeah.
you just walk
absolutely.
into shit. And
And you're like,
then-
how the hell
yeah.
do I deal with this? And then just gets progressively worse.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to do that without just being accused of being a bad or cheap game. Getting the balance right is difficult, but if they do it right, like, there's nothing better.
Yeah.
I like one of the screenshots they have is actually really funny. It shows 2 teammates in front of an enemy, and one teammate is blasting like a black lightning bolt. It goes through his friend, killing him, and then attacks the guy. I'm like, that is.
Oh,
the game I
lightning in
wanna
the game's
play.
hilarious because it is completely indiscriminate and it will happily bounce to your friends as much as it will bounce to your allies, setting people on fire. And then the great situation is like, oh, my friend's on fire, he's about to die. Quick, better spray him with water. And then someone else in your team casts lightning and instantly electrocutes him. It's like, yes! Again, it will not fly within the competitive community because doing this with pubs will just be awful. It really will. And they may have to figure that out. I just hope they figure it out in a way that doesn't take that friendly fire aspect away from it. Because I was really afraid that they would. And the amount of fun that we had with Magicka during our playthrough was mostly when we fucked up and killed each other in a horrendous
Those
way.
are always the most funny moments, for
Yes.
sure.
Yeah. It looks a bit better now that it's in BitSquid, which is a good engine as far as I'm concerned. You can get a lot of nice fidelity there. It still keeps the same kind of Magicka ideas. And the progression system they're kind of looking for with it is based on items that all have advantages and disadvantages and all look progressively more outrageous. So they will probably have the Day of the Tentacle robe back like they did in the original Magicka and the Half-Life robes and all of the Star Trek-inspired stuff. But each of those items will have an advantage and a disadvantage associated with it. So I'm thinking, maybe they can make progression work based on silly items. Possibly. It might happen. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. The early access version's out now. It will be a free-to-play game, but right now they're doing early access like with a minimum founders package of $13, and I think you get an alpha code with that you can give to somebody else, but eventually it'll get into beta and you won't have to pay for it. So, unless you're really desperate to get into the alpha right now, I wouldn't do that. What I'd also say as well is that the game mode is fairly limited. Unlike, say, Dota or League of Legends, this game will not survive on one map because it doesn't have any complexity or depth to the map whatsoever. So they need to have more game modes, they need to have more maps and things like that. Otherwise, people will eventually just get bored of it. Mm-hmm. But it is an alpha, so, that's acceptable. But we had a riot with it, and I'd recommend trying it out. If any of you get an alpha code, you should give it a bash. It is a lot of fun.
Sweet.
Very cool.
Anyone else been playing anything else this week that we wish to discuss?
Let me look at my desktop.
Too much, you know what? In my spare time, too much Battlefield 4. I don't know what's going on.
Man, you're still on it?
I'm surprised. I mean, you are not usually an FPS guy, and
No,
I am, and I
I'm
played
not.
Battlefield 4 for a couple of days, and I'm like, I'll just wait for it to come out now.
I mean, it is just one map. Like, it's just a beta, so it's just this one map over and over again. But because I think because I haven't played a lot of FPS or Battlefield games or Call of Duty or whatever, I keep finding new things to occupy my time while in a game. So I'm like, you know what? No, I'm just going to get in this fucking helicopter and shoot people. And I found I'm really good at it. Like, I don't get shot down. I'm like, I'm very good at murdering. This is
You would be the last person I would expect to be good at flying in a Battlefield game, I've got to say.
Oh, no. I don't fly. I just get man in the gunner position.
Oh, okay, so you hold
Please.
the button down, right.
That's
yes,
a strong
yes.
move right there, yeah.
Yeah, and so that's look, I can shoot men from the air with jerky motion controls. This pilot is like barely able to fly, and I'm like, just hold still, asshole. I had my first fuck you, Jesse Cox, yesterday.
Fantastic.
Because I killed 3 dudes in a row, and it was the same guy 3 times, and I felt
Cool.
really good about it. And he was very mad. I was like, I'm not bad at this. I'm still horrible, but I'm not that bad. So I'm like, all right, this is pretty fun. I don't know that I can see myself doing it long term, but for now, it's new. So I'm like, all right, I'm in. Show me what you got. But I know what happens when the game actually comes out, and like people who are really talented at FPS games like shoot me in the head a million times, and I'm like, I just wanted to play.
The thing is, like, in Battlefield, it doesn't matter that much, because that guy still can't fight a tank. So if you run him over in a tank, it doesn't matter how fucking good he was. And it's a great equalizer, but it's also a gigantic pain in the arse, because at some point that will happen to you as well. It's like, I couldn't do anything! Admittedly, I think Battlefield 4 does a better job of it because, especially in this map, I hope the rest of the maps are like this as well, there's way more places to kind of scurry away to. A lot of those buildings are actually open and you can go into them, as opposed to previous games where it's mostly just set pieces. So you can go and hide from tanks and helicopters, and you can fight underground. And I would say that's where tanks can't go, but in my personal experience, yes, they fucking can. There was a tank in the shop last time I was down there, and it kept murdering me. And I was like, I'll close the shutters. Boom! The shutter's just blown off the hinges. Like, well, this was a bad plan, all things considered.
Yeah, I love that about it. I actually like the fact that you can sneak around. That's one of the things I end up doing, and it blows my mind. People don't catch on. I guess.
Oh no, they don't. They really don't.
They're like learning great things about the game too. Maybe, I don't know, but they'll take over, the different flag points, and I'll just scurry through alleyways that no one ever goes down. And then just get to that capture point and just sit there, and no one shows up. I take the flag and run to another one. And I'm just like, you dummies, I'm getting all these points doing nothing.
Yeah,
and
I am consistently finding different alleyways to actually find my way down. That's what shocked me about the map. It's like, holy shit, there are so many different ways to go around, which is not something Battlefield 3 had. Everything else about Battlefield 4 is pretty much the same fucking game with a little bit extra polish to it graphically. But the map design so far has blown me away. I'm hoping the rest of the maps keep up with that. I have a feeling they won't, because they'd love to sell you some DLC later down the line that has some better maps in it.
Although, with that said, I think the addition of the boat into the Shanghai map is kind of pointless. Like, that thing just, drives in a circle.
And murders people.
Yeah,
that's all it does.
It serves no,
There is no reason for that boat to be there. At no point it's like, oh, we've completely lost control of the bridge. Better get in the boat. Like, no, that doesn't happen.
The boat, it can't even go up the, channels. It just sits in the harbor, and you go around, and unless any tanks or anything come by that shoreline, you don't do a damn thing except try and shoot down helicopters. You have no purpose. And it's like, why is this here? Just, I don't get it. Whatever. It's cute, though. That's Battlefield 4.
Yes, that
It's
is
cute.
indeed. Jim, have you had a chance to play it yet?
2013.
I've not. No, I'm trying to find someone else to review it for me on Destructoid because I reviewed the last one, and that was the same year a Kirby game came out.
Oh, I remember that.
I love Kirby, and it was all why. Fuck you, Jim. Fat tits. Why do you think Kirby is better than Battlefield
3? It
and they
was,
were saying,
though.
a lot of them were saying that before I'd even reviewed Battlefield.
Yeah.
Oh, he's gonna like Kirby better than Battlefield. Fuck him. And I did, because it's better. But
Well, it is.
Yeah.
Battlefield 3 on release had some of the worst maps I've seen in a Battlefield game ever. Yeah, and I'm sorry, but if you've got to buy the expansion map pack to actually have a decent Battlefield experience, then that's not a good thing. Like, that release version is weak, and it had launch problems and technical issues, and the campaign was
horrible.
absolute fucking dreadful. Campaign was an embarrassment.
the campaign upset me. I spent that whole day sad. Just the saddest person in the world. No one has ever been sadder than me on that day.
Your Battlefield game. You got jets, right? Yeah, we got jets. We'll let you fly jets in the campaign. From the back seat. Hope you like 30 minutes of fucking
Can't
clicking
steer
targets.
anything. Yeah.
I'm like, you kidding me? You have full flight mechanics in your game and you elected not to let me use them at any point.
There was a good game underneath just bad decisions. But yeah, I'm trying to find someone else because Battlefield fans, you know what? I don't have the energy for them this year. I do not have the strength for them. I'm going to find some other victim and pawn that game off onto them.
I still think Bad Company 2's campaign was better than Battlefield 3's. A lot of people criticize that. It's like, yeah, but I get to open my own doors. And I can blow holes in my own walls.
Such a rare treat now. I feel like it's
Indeed.
my birthday every time a game lets me open a door.
Control a thing?
I'm
Yeah.
not some glorified fucking cameraman for other people having a lot more fun than me who aren't even real people.
Well, that's
That-
why, of course, in Medal of Honor Warfighter, they allowed you 6 different ways to open doors. Which, sadly, was the best bit of that game.
Yeah.
The
Best
door
thing to come
opening.
out of that game
Door
was
mechanics were primo.
Yeah, you unlock different ways to open the doors. I wish I was kidding. It sounds like a
snacks.
parody.
or Kick It.
Yep.
The best, actually, there was a good parody. Miracle of Sound did a song called Medal of Honor Door
Door
Fight,
kick. Yeah, door fighter, that was it.
which was just all about you versus the doors. That was
Yeah.
quite cute, but way more entertaining than the actual fucking
Yes.
thing itself.
No question about that, really.
One thing I will say about Battlefield 4 though is, speaking of like blowing holes and stuff, I
Go
was
on.
Tell me
having
more
not-
about
I'm
your
not-
holes, Jesse.
I'm not a big FPS guy, so playing a game where the Shanghai starts out very pristine, and by the end of the 30-minute battle, it's a fucking mess, is one of the best. Like, it feels good to know that you destroyed this city, and it wasn't like a game that did it. It was you driving your tank over shit and blowing holes in walls and knocking down buildings. And you're like, yeah, no, I like that I did that.
Did some
I
good
like
work
that.
today.
Is it just
Especially
me, by the way, or does the dust in the atmosphere increase the more destruction happens? Because I find
It
out later
does.
on in the battle, the helicopters become less effective because they can't see anything, which is like, wow, that's actually a really interesting, subtle change to the
It
way the
might
meta
be if
works.
the building just if the building collapses, that might be the only time.
It might be, yeah.
Because it does, if you're on the gunner camera in the helicopter, at the beginning, it's much clearer than at the end where it's very foggy, yeah.
Yeah. That's an interesting little subtle shift that they've made there in the way that the battle actually escalates. Admittedly, I'm still finding a lot of people who are telling people don't blow up the building. Because if you
No.
blow up the skyscraper, it's less fun because you lose all of that vertical fighting.
Well, I mean, it's really cool. The other day we had a thing where I was playing as China, go China, and the Americans were all up in the top of the, like, I guess the viewing room at the top of that skyscraper. And we had all of our helicopters going around it, just like strafing that thing as they're firing rockets at us. And I was like, this is kind of a really cool, like what's happening right now is kind of fucking awesome.
Yes.
And then some guy in a tank just rolled up and shot down the support beams. He's like, it's going down. We're like, no.
Yeah, the skyscraper falling was amazing in the trailer, but actually is not so good in
Oh,
the
it's kind of
actual
wonky.
game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't work very well, and it makes the map worse when it
Oh
happens.
no,
So
that sucks.
yeah,
But,
that's
like-
unfortunate. I want to see what else they do with the whole levolution thing on the other maps. The funny thing is, the better levolution elements of that particular map are extend the bollards on the road so the tank can't drive past. That's a better element to it.
I hope they have. They need to either have a dam that breaks or an avalanche at some point on a map. I'd be real
Oh,
happy.
an avalanche would be dope.
Avalanche would be dope. If you could
Everyone's
blow up,
dead.
like,
Does then it spawn
Game over.
snowmobiles that you could just ride down and do mad tricks?
fucking
Because
awesome.
I'm
Do
all
some
over
James
that.
Bond shit down there.
I just chew.
that'd be really cool.
On a cello case the whole way through. Unlockable cello case with the next expansion pack. Be
Yeah,
fantastic.
and you get a black whole skin tight suit with yellow piping.
Oh,
Sorry, lemon
hell
piping.
yes.
That's the correct term for that Alan Partridge reference.
Indeed.
That's awesome. Yeah.
It's
It's definitely cool, but yeah, you're right. The building collapse is if you're on the building and you don't get off in time, all it does is rumble a little bit. It like one siren goes off. If
You
you're
don't get
fighting,
to ride it down. You just basically instantly despawn. It's like,
just
I would love to
die.
ride
It's
it
like-
down while waving my hat in the air. It would just be great.
Ah! Yeah, no. And then if you see it collapse, it is just a wonky like, meh, and then just shrapnel, and you're like,
It doesn't
That's
look
not what I
anything
saw in
like
the
the
trailer.
trailer. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's still in beta. I assume they're going to fix that, but that doesn't look
That
anything
sounds
like
really
it.
funny.
yeah.
I'm literally imagining it just like looking pristine and like falling over pristine and then just like, turns into just
Like,
lots of
it's
little
not-
pieces.
Oh no, yeah, that's. I mean, it starts to crumble, like it starts to tilt, and then things start falling off of it, and then it just shatters into pieces. It's really funny.
It's like just someone took a
Yeah.
hammer to a large, like, length mirror. It is
Yeah.
a little silly.
And then dust appears, and the next thing you know, it's just rubble on the ground.
Yep.
It's like,
My biggest concern about that right now is the way they're going to do the battle pack system and the way that they're actually going to do progression in that game, because it smells horribly wrong to me, and I have a feeling microtransactions might end up being involved eventually. And from what I've heard, someone did a comparison between some of the sites that you get with the battle packs and some of the sites that you get regularly, because the argument was, oh, it's just cosmetic, guys. No, the holo site that you get with the battle pack is literally better because it takes up less of the screen and doesn't have as much nonsense in your way. So it is literally a better site.
and if you look at the list of things you can get and all the add-ons you can get, over half of them say like from Battle Pack. You're
Yeah, there's something like
"Oh
a flash
my God."
suppressor, and I couldn't find a flash suppressor anywhere else in the list. I have to assume the amount of gear that's in the beta is much reduced from what you're actually going to get. But I know a lot of people are saying, you know, they're not going to make battle packs for sale. I don't know that. I really don't know that. Already, they have actually made They have already made them for sale because you get 12 battle packs with Battlefield Premium. Yeah? That's one of the things that you get with that service. So they're already technically selling battle packs.
But over the next
Yeah.
5 years, the word pack is gonna become just one of those like teeth on tinfoil kind of words.
Oh, it'll be
The word
PAQ
pack.
by the time we're done.
Oh,
Yeah.
definitely.
Pack,
Yeah.
dog. Yeah.
Paid add-on quotient.
For them, it's quota.
Yes.
They have to reach their paid add-on quota. Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, we have reached a time when actually selling 4 million copies of a game is not enough to be commercially successful.
Yeah,
So you got to sell them
whatever.
bits of shit
It's
afterwards.
a failure. It's
It
an
is.
absolute failure. Never mind that something like Dark Souls can sell 2 million and be considered quite a success.
How did that
until-
happen?
I don't
Until
understand.
Namco Bandai then looks at that and it's what they're doing and then saying, you know what, that did really well. Now let's tell our investors we're going to sell 6 million and pour all of our marketing into it and spend everything we made on the first one to try and turn it into a AAA one because we're a big publisher and that's what we do and we're shit.
It doesn't need any of that. It barely needed any marketing to begin with. Dark Souls in itself is already a word that is whispered to gamers' children at night, like this boogeyman. It's like, you play your
Yeah.
Pokemons now, but you do not know what is coming, what lurks beneath.
Yeah.
They've already compared it to Skyrim. That's
Why?
it. As
It's the
soon as
exact
a
fucking
publisher-
opposite.
As soon as a publisher compares a good game to another person's game that's more successful, that's it. I think Dark Souls 2 is going to be great, but I'm very worried about what their expectations for it are going to be. after their publicist said they're going to go in guns blazing with their marketing, which they do realize that the term guns blazing also means doing something very recklessly and not exactly wisely. And I mean, that's just the problem with the whole thing, the whole AAA thing. It's pre-ET. This is exactly what happened with, the ET game that got buried in the fucking desert. It's the exact same attitudes just coming back.
It comes down
game.
The suffering. What annoys me is that they're really pushing the whole "you're gonna die, guys. Look at how hard we are" kind of thing. They don't. The thing about the world of Dark Souls is that it's fucking miserable, and it doesn't tell you anything, and everything that you discover about it's actually very subtle and a bit sad. So when they go balls to the wall with a fucking metal soundtrack and say, "Look at how hard we are. Come and have a go if you think you're hard enough."
They did that a little bit with the first one well, and it was very gauche, because you're right, like there's this thing I call a term for a certain design that I call like beautifully bleak, where something is just gorgeous but still very grey, because obviously grey and brown games. Shadow of the Colossus, yeah. Just these beautifully bleak games. I mean, I grew up in Erith in the UK, which is actually in a book of the very worst towns in the United Kingdom. Very proud of it. It's just a big block of concrete full of like disheveled, broken businesses. But there's something beautiful about my hometown, because there's just this haunting sadness to it. And that's the exact feeling that Demon Souls and Dark Souls gave me. It's just this is so sad, but kind of like eerily gorgeous. The kind of thing that proves to you that a grey colour scheme doesn't necessarily mean bad. It's just what you do with it. And I wish they'd really showcased that more, because it's an eerie, haunting game.
I actually liked the initial marketing campaign they did for Dark Souls. I thought that was, I mean, yes, it was kind of silly. Like it was basically saying like, this game's gonna kick your ass. Like that was the point of there. But I think that everything they chose about how to advertise it was pretty spot on. And I don't know how much money that cost them, but it couldn't have been a lot, because they made like 2 trailers and that was it.
The Bartholomew trailer was really good.
Fantastic, yeah. Like there was a lot to it where it was like, all right, this is the kind of game that I mean, God bless anyone who plays it, but I don't know. Like this scares the shit out of me. Like knowing that like
the whole idea of marketing Dark Souls as a hard game is wrong anyway. It's not a hard game. And I'm not saying that like those people are like, oh, it's not hard, they could kill you.
Oh, yeah, no, it's trial and error. Yeah.
It's a game in which you will survive if you are just slow and scared. And the scariness shouldn't come from, oh, we're hardcore, bro. It should come from, have you seen that fucking gargoyle? That's where the horror is. Have you seen that fucking gargoyle? No, thank you. Like, that's what it is. It's Nope, the game.
It's intimidating. The whole thing, and it's not just down for, look at how hard this game is, how intimidating. It's like, no, everything about it, including the dissonant soundtrack. I have the soundtrack to Demon Souls and Dark Souls. There is barely a track on that I would actually want to listen to in my leisure time, because it is all horribly dissonant and terrifying.
Yeah, like it's, and again, just beautiful in its own way.
Yeah.
And just very hauntingly beautiful. But that's they bill it as this, like, macho, big balls, fucking, I'm a real man kind of thing.
Yeah.
And you're not even supposed to feel like a big, macho, real man playing it. You're supposed to feel powerless and frightened and weak. And that's how I like it. And then when you get a little bit of strength, you're supposed to be overjoyed that you've got that. Like, it's the opposite of the kind of power fantasy that they bill it as.
Yeah, that's very true. And the best thing about that is when you get a little bit of strength, the game is just there to slap you right back down again and fucking remember your place, human.
Yeah. It just like puts its arms around your shoulder and says, you can throw lightning bolts now. That's very good. And it just grabs your nipple and just twists it and says, and fuck your tit as well.
What a perfect time to go to the break. We will be coming back after the break with some news and discussion, no doubt. You are watching the Co-optional Podcast, folks. Don't go anywhere. Yes, welcome back to the Game Station Podcast, as we like to call it. I'm going to call it the Game Station Podcast here because I don't want to be associated with that comment. So I feel that my brand needs to survive Jesse Cox, and I think that's going to be the best way to do it, to sort of disassociate and pretend we're a different show. It's kind of like dissociative personality disorder, where you just kind of...
Speaking of different,
You take...
hello, Mr. Biscuit.
Oh, hello.
That's very classy. I'll drink my
wait,
flavored
we
water.
have to toast.
Oh, actually...
Yes, toast.
I'm sorry,
Whoa,
fuck
whoa.
all you're all, bitches.
Right, here we go.
I'm sorry,
Okay.
but you think I
yes,
was unprepared?
Ting.
Chin chin.
There you go.
I'm not on camera again.
Beautiful. That worked
There.
out so well.
Well done, well done.
That's a fine glass.
Do not toast the camera. I've learned
Indeed.
that.
Mr. Jim Sterling promised you a classy wine-filled podcast.
And
So
we
that's
are
what he
knowledgeable.
brought to
You are
We
providing.
saw his tweet. We're no liars.
Yeah.
We don't lie.
I thought
It's
that was
actually very
lying.
convenient that I had this. It's because I ran out of other glasses to drink from, so I got
talk
out the
about classy
fucking
wine.
giant goblets.
I just realised that repositioning the camera has made the dragon dildo very visible in
That's
the
okay.
background.
Oh,
Nice.
That's okay. It's actually slightly cropped on our end, so it's okay.
Ah,
no one's
okay.
gonna see
I
it.
could have just kept quiet about that.
Yeah,
Could have.
you could
No
have.
one
You
needed
could-
to know
you
about the
could have.
dragon dildo, but I mean, we
And
were
there's a
talking.
video of me running around with it duct taped to my face, so...
Dodger did
Destructoid
admit
and
just a
Escape is
second
only the
ago-
finest in entertainment.
I
Dodger
what?
Dodger did admit just a second ago to wanting to sleep with a dragon, so
I
we
did-
are.
No, what I said.
You
was
said
I
that
think-
you understood.
No, I said I think that there's a possibility that because of the Hobbit movies, Smaug has started more dragon dildo purchases. And then Jesse brought up the Fifth Estate.
And then
And then-
Dodger said.
How the
Dodger
fuck
said,
are they related?
Because Dodger said
Because
she didn't
Benedict
like him because
Cumberbatch
his
is
hair.
Smaug and...
And Julian Assange. Okay.
And Dodger said, I don't like him because his hair in that movie. And I was like, oh, is there a limit on how much you love him? And then she
said,
started
I don't
talking
know.
about something stupid, and then I called her out on being
I said,
stupid.
I don't know. That's all I said was I don't know.
And then she said, and I quote, God, I would bang a dragon. Word for word. Word for word. True story. I was there. It happened.
I feel this is appropriate to the situation.
It's appropriate to the situation, yeah.
Hello, Dodger. Hi.
That's how
Hi,
you bang
Dodger.
dragons. I've learned a thing. That right
Can I
there.
buy you a drink?
Oh, please do.
Would you like something smoky?
Ah,
Eh?
ah.
I mean, I wasn't going to bang a dragon, but since it sounds like Julia Child, I think I'd be well into it.
Ooh. I'd bang a
You
dragon.
don't,
that
you don't
sounds
want
like
the
Julia
Benedict
Child.
Cumberbatch dragon? I don't understand. You're not into that?
Oh, Jesus Christ. So that was the news. There we go. So that's pretty much the entire
That's it.
section
We're
done.
done.
Excellent.
We're done.
Yeah, that's all
Next
the news.
break.
I mean, yeah, it's cool.
Back to
Nothing
back.
actually, nothing happened really. Nothing's been happening in the world of gaming. It's fine. All right. Okay. Well, guess we better do it. So delays. Watch Dogs has been delayed until next bloody year, I believe. They were saying spring 2014. Out of the blue, just saying, yup, not coming on console launch, not even coming this year. Which has resulted in great vengeance and furious anger from certain people, and cries and tears and screams of the damned,
How dare they? I bought a PS4 for this.
wailing and the
Because,
gnashing
yeah.
of the teeth.
Third parties are responsible for the things I pre-order.
Indeed. Well, first things first,
Yeah.
the two groups that are going to be like, oh, would be Sony and
Nintendo.
Microsoft, most likely, who were no doubt looking to the sales bump that Watch Dogs may have caused for the next generation consoles. That is now, of course, not going to happen. They are now going to rely on their first-party releases. Good fucking luck.
Let's go through a list of what those are.
Not
Knack.
that many. Knack, yes.
It is Knack. I believe that, I forget who said it on my Twitter, but it was basically like, just buy Knack is now the PS4's tagline.
Killzone's alright, I guess.
Huh?
I mean, it looks cute.
Ow.
I wouldn't
think
buy it for knack. Like, I wouldn't.
Under no circumstances.
No.
But it looks cute.
What do we have right now? It's
What?
literally 3 games. It's either one you
Exclusives?
get, you're gonna get a racing game. Either one you get, you're gonna get your
You either get
you're gonna
Forza
your
or
action
Drive Club.
game. And then is there a Knack on Xbox? Is there a Knack style game? There's Rise, and then
Rise is not a
Something
Knack style
else.
game, although
No,
it's
no, I know,
mechanically
but
fairly similar, so I'm told.
is there a Knack style game? I don't think there is. So
I don't think so.
So
At least at
Xbox
the
is gonna be
conference.
like,
Really?
yeah.
Like,
So
the
Xbox
thing which
like
is
the
basically
in-your-face
selling
games.
the Xbox One right now is, unfortunately, Dead Rising 3, which has not exactly had a great career of selling consoles, let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
Like,
Plus-
don't get me wrong, I love the original Dead Rising and will defend it to the death against all comers, but what I've seen of Dead Rising 3 so far is it's like, we think this would be good for a wider audience. Like,
Oh yeah, I believe the exact words "call of" and "duty" were used when talking about who they're trying to make that appeal to, which is fun.
but we're still silly, guys! We got the little
Yeah.
circle heads and there's a lightsaber somewhere, and it's...
But we've just got this gritty, mature storyline, and we're
Thank
also
God
going to
for that.
say the word emotional apropos of nothing, because that convinces you that we've got a good story. If we just say the word emotional without having any actual emotions in, which is what sociopaths do.
That's actually
I-
scarily
I-
true.
apt.
I say that all the time.
Quite apt.
So,
Don't worry, guys.
don't
Just Dance 2014 is here to save the day, or Killer Instinct with its
thank
generous
God.
demo. Generous demo, very generous, highly
But
generous.
on the subject of Watch Dogs, I'm never sad when a game is delayed.
No.
That's my default. Never sad, because
Yeah.
it just means if it gives them more dev time, that's fine, because that's a big problem in the AAA gaming space is rushed shit, especially at launch. I've always said this. I don't care about a console having a massive launch library. That's a crock of shit. I want to know what you've got for me 6 months from now. If you've got... I mean, I always say this. The PS Vita had a massive launch library.
Yep.
This has sat on my desk doing fuck all for months. And I love the PS Vita, but it's been doing fuck all. The
Yeah.
Wii U, they were boasting it's the biggest launch lineup Nintendo's ever had.
Which is not...
Yeah.
I mean, it's not untrue.
Yeah, but what good does that do that now? I don't care about launch libraries. Half of them are going to be rushed. A lot of them are going to be ports. There might be one or two really good ones. And then you've got nothing for me later. Take the ones that were rushed, release them several months from now, and then you've got a lifespan. You've got longevity. You've got the name of your console in headlines for months. I don't care. The fact that it's being delayed, I think, is probably going to be a good thing for the generation, for the consoles it's coming out on.
I honestly feel like if they're going to launch a really big new franchise, especially with something that I'm very interested in seeing, not so much necessarily continue. I don't want to play Watch Dogs 7 2 years down the line. What I do want is for this kind of idea of bit dystopian future, kind of open world, cyberpunk hacky stuff that doesn't necessarily involve just shooting everybody. I want that to be more of a thing. And the last thing I want is for them to rush out Watch Dogs because they feel they need to hit the launch window and bugger it up as a direct result of that.
Exactly.
Do we know anything of why it was delayed, or is it just it's delayed, deal with it?
It seems most like it's delayed, deal with it. They're also pretty cagey about the launch bundles because a lot of people pre-ordered launch bundles with Watch Dogs in them. And you're not, obviously that's not going to work out. So they're going to have to fix that in some way. Lord knows how they're going to pull that off.
It's almost like presumptive pre-order packages and things are a bad idea.
Yeah, it's
Almost.
strange how that is.
That's so funny.
Are you suggesting that retailers should actually sell the console soulless? That would be an insane idea. Having worked at Game for 3 bloody years, I can tell you the term upsell basket and add-ons are just pervasive amongst the entire gaming retail space. And it's obnoxious and horrendous, and that's why you basically have to buy a bundle with a lot of this stuff. It's also why we've had that scammy nonsense with Simply Games cancelling people's pre-orders and forcing them to reorder with a fucking bundle that has an unofficial charging cable in it because they want to make a little bit extra margin. Which is just bollocks.
Yeah, that's weird.
It makes it hard because I know you and I are actually sort of, we don't see eye to eye fully on the whole used game issue. I know people are always trying to get us to fight about it.
Yeah.
Which I see no real point in doing.
Oh,
sounds like
why?
a
What's
waste
the
of
problem,
fun time.
guys?
But
What are your differences on this subject? I'm really curious.
No, Jesse.
I'm a big supporter of used games, and
I'm
TV
not.
isn't.
Oh,
Is that
wow.
really-
I heard TV once say, I verbatim,
Yeah.
Jim is a fucking moron,
Here we
and
go.
I hate him, and I wish he would die just like used games.
Yeah, I mean, alongside other extremely true statements such as TotalBiscuit claimed we were destroying the games industry, the Chinese room.
I heard that too. I heard
Yeah.
that
You're
too.
right, Chinese room. That is a
that
fact.
Yeah, I absolutely said that verbatim. There's,
Now fight. Now fight. Entertain me.
it will
Kill
not
each
happen.
other.
You are the entertainer here, Jesse.
yeah.
You're supposed to be doing your
I
job.
tell you what, if next time I'm in North Carolina next year, I will bring a trident and a steel net, and we'll settle the debate that way.
Oh, can I do the music like bro?
Yeah.
Bro, ba, 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 bro.
Da, 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 da.
Da, 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 da. Done. Happening.
I will be your one audience member. I will not work for this.
I could sell tickets for that shit. It would be
But,
amazing.
I was saying, like, it does make it hard to stand up for that, because I'm obviously a big supporter of the used market, but when retailers pull shit like that, it's like, dude, you're hoisting yourselves by your own petard here. You're making it worse. It's the whole reason why... It's the exact same reason why ad block is so prevalent on the internet now, is because advertisers themselves fucked it up. They screwed everything up, they got too greedy, and then the users bit back, and that's happening in retail, and it's happening with AAA
Guess who's getting
publishers.
fucked over by that? It's wonderful, isn't
Yeah.
it? It's like, we didn't cause the ads to be irritating. We don't have any control over that,
Yeah.
but we really needed to live, so if you
Yeah.
wouldn't mind.
And the hardest part for that is the fact that I totally get it.
Yeah.
I can't blame anyone using adblock, because for
Yeah.
years I've had the exact same problem where I'm mousing over and a big yellow face is going, say something! at
Oh,
me."
that fucking... Well, lately it's just been infuriating on sites that I... Let me just fire shots, by the way, at the fucking escapist, who...
What?
Yes.
Shots fired.
Sorry, I went to watch your Jimquisition, as it turns out, quite recently, and there's a fucking ad on that page that if you go anywhere near it with your cursor, immediately starts playing and expands to 3 times its normal size. It's like you fucking added water to a set of really annoying corporate sea monkeys, and it just infects your screen with its nonsense.
I don't work for the escapist. I just sell them my shit. Sorry, smiley face.
Similar problem with the rest of us. We don't work for Google AdSense. We just sell them our shit, which is, well, you guys, as the users. We sell them, you, which is true. And then they give us money for that. But that's how it works. I mean, you're not wrong, though,
But
unfortunately.
it makes it tough. Like, I can't blame anyone who ad blocks anything I do stuff for.
yeah.
The best I can do is just say,
Please don't.
please consider consider whitelisting where I do stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
just as it
exactly.
lets me continue to do stuff.
Yeah,
and
which,
I'm
you know, we try to be
you
reasonable.
guys do.
Try
Yeah,
to be
I-
reasonable.
Sorry.
I was just gonna say, I think because we do understand how obnoxious it is, it's never, please don't use AdBlock ever. Please uninstall it. It's just, please whitelist me.
Yeah, I mean, obviously for porn
That's all I
sites,
ask.
keep that shit on.
It's
But-
probably for the best.
Yeah. You know, I consider myself far less malicious pornography. So leave it off for me if you want.
But how will you discover the wonderful world of porn from that point without the ads directing you to various other sites and flavors?
That is true.
You need to broaden your
World
horizons.
of pegging could go unpegged.
It's true.
I'm not sure how we got here, but let's... we'll get back on track with it anyway. So, I don't have a problem with the delay. I'm fairly happy with it. I don't know what the motivation is. Some people have speculated, because Assassin's Creed 4 probably wouldn't sell so much because they're coming out within a month of each other. Pretty sure that's bollocks. I'm fairly sure it's going to sell well regardless. I mean, hell, this is the first Assassin's Creed game I've been interested in since 2, honestly.
Yeah.
Finally,
I mean-
by the way, I can finally talk about it since the date yesterday, the embargo was the 14th.
Oh.
Dude, the sailing part of that game is 20 times better than everything else in the fucking game. Assassin's Creed 4 is like every other Assassin's Creed until you get in that damn boat, and then it's like, this is what it's like basically driving in Grand Theft Auto, but the boat version. You can
And
do
with
anything you
massive
want.
amounts of cannons.
Yeah, you can jump off the boat and go like swim and go to an island and go explore that island just because you want to, and it's not even part of the story. You can dig for treasure. You can do all sorts of great stuff. When I was there at their little event, the guys kept coming over to me like, "Are you sure you don't want to start the story campaign?" I'm like, "No, I'm good."
Don't even worry about it.
They were getting a little pissed because I was like, "No, I'm fine. I'm just gonna go around and blow up ships and have a good old time."
I
'Cause
wonder
it
if
was
they
a lot
took
of fun.
anything from that. Like, frankly, that's what they should have focus grouped. It's like, what are people doing? Are they playing the story? Are they fucking sailing around underneath the black flag and wrecking people's days? Because if they're doing that, we should probably focus more on that bit. And frankly, it's the GTA standard, isn't it? Because Assassin's Creed has never been a game where you can go around indiscriminately murdering people. That's actually the opposite of what that game is. Although progressively, it's got to the point where the assassin is more of mass serial killer of guards. But regardless, when you offer me some other experience, and it's a little bit more... You just kind of, I'm sailing into the fucking unknown and doing whatever I want, and I've got more freedom, and there's little side objectives that pop up. It reminds me of why I liked games like Red Dead, why I like games like GTA and Saints Row, because I just like to travel and have attractions come at me as I'm doing so, and have that feeling of, I can do whatever the fuck I want, instead of being tied to a story.
There's a really great, and it's very much like GTA, because as you sail, the more cargo ships or little tiny schooners or whatever you destroy, your wanted level increases. And so that's when Spain or whoever you're fighting against at the time starts sending like frigates and cannon ships
like
and shit after you.
Sea Dogs. This sounds fantastic.
And
it
so
sounds like... Sorry.
Oh no, I was gonna say we were all sitting around playing, and then as the night went on, eventually, we were up talking to different developers, doing whatever. And there was one kid who must have been like, I don't know, 14. God bless that kid, because he was a freaking baller. He's sitting there playing this thing, and he gets to the point where he has full wanted, and all the enemy navies have joined together to find him. And he ends up in a cove trying to hide, and all the ships are outside waiting for him, and he can't leave this cove, so he would go out, fire a few cannons, come back in, and they're just waiting for him like, what up, bitch? Like, he was going to die, and he tried so hard to live. It was fantastic to watch it. And it's actually... I will agree. I think Assassin's Creed 4 is a better pirate game than it is assassin game. Because even when you're doing assassin missions, at least early on, you're doing stuff like filling up your crew. Like, the more people you save in town, or the more things you do, they add to your crew. And if you if you take over like enemy ships, they can die in that battle, so you lose crew members too. So you have to constantly manage your crew. You have to add new people to it, and then you can jump aboard enemy ships or stay on your boat and fire like little cannons. That's
pretty clearly better. I mean, let's be honest. Assassin's Creed games have always been bad Assassin's Creed games. Like, they're really bad at being Assassin's Creed. Even the first one was, it was probably the most focused of it, and suffered as a result. It's like,
it was
originally,
boring, actually.
Yeah, you had 3 missions, and it was always the fucking same. Sit down on a bench, the video game. As what that game basically was. Then go assassinate your target. But at least at that point, it had an illusion of you can't just go murdering everyone, especially when they kind of brought the Templars out in their armor. It's like, oh, it's a bit more difficult to fight. But even then, everything was fixed by countering, and they have not fixed that since. And since then, it's been, oh, well, getting discovered and getting into fights has no consequence whatsoever, because you will be easily able to murder everyone that's dancing around you.
I wish they'd spin the pirate stuff off into its own game. I mean, they won't, because they'd be too afraid to give it its own friggin' IP, but...
Well, it would sell less. I mean, there's no question. Assassin's Creed for them right now is a massive cash cow.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the pirate stuff, it looks exactly like the kind of thing I want. But I'm so over the actual Assassin's Creed series, I'm probably not going to play it. I don't want to deal with the Assassin's Creed stuff. I just want to do a boat.
That's absolutely exactly how I felt. And I'm trying to come up with, like, I have all this game footage. I'm trying to come up with a way of, like, saying that. I mean, that's pretty much it. The Assassin's Creed parts, I could not care less about, because you're doing things just like you did in all the other Assassin's Creed, where it's like, all right, I need to go save this guy from being hung. I'm going to get these 4 prostitutes over here to walk with me, lure the guards out, and then I'm going to run up there and save him real quick while they're busy. Great. Okay, you've done that in all the other ones. There's nothing really new to it. The cool part is that you hang out with these new pirates, and you get to hang out with Blackbeard and do all this stuff, but it's still in that confined space of, oh yeah, you're an assassin, you must kill things and stay on the story, or else you're going to ruin the timeline that you're trying to, like, great, okay, but...
Screw the timeline.
Yeah, the pirate stuff, though, is really, really compelling. Like, they took the Assassin's Creed 3 stuff and just said, let's make that its own thing and, like, bump it up. It's great. There are times when you find missions out in the ocean, and you're like, shit, let's do this. And you can...
I love that.
Go off and hunt for treasure. Like, I found, like a shipwrecked boat, and there were a bunch of British guys on the island. I'm like, oh, I'm going to kill these assholes and take whatever they found. And you can get on the island, and you can hunt for food, and you can hunt for different things, and you can get various booty that you loot, and then sell it in towns and make more money, and then outfit your ship. So your ship, you can make bigger and better and bigger, and you can put the different, like, what are those things on the front? Like the I'm trying to think what those are called.
Like the mermaidy
mastheads,
ladies?
Yes.
Are they called?
Yeah, mastheads.
Something like that, yeah.
You can get all different ones of those. You can change how your ship looks entirely. And I'm like, oh, that's so much cooler than giving any shit what my character looks like.
Yeah.
I was like, I just don't care.
Is there any way you can get Black Flag and just do that bit and pretend the rest of it does? That all sounds so good.
I might just do that. I mean, just do minimal amount of story to just roll around in that until I get bored of it, and then just play a bit of the multiplayer, which hasn't evolved since Assassin's Creed 2.
I mean, hell, by the end of Assassin's Creed 2, all I was doing was just grabbing villagers and throwing them downstairs. I had hours of fun with that, just boof, boof, into the river with you.
The way the demo that we played, I guess this was a build. I guess it wasn't a demo, but the way we played it was, you start out having a conversation with one of your crew members about, like, I guess it's right after the intro scene, so I don't know what that is, but it's after that, and it's like, all right, we need to sail to this bay so we can go and meet some guys. It's like, okay, so you start sailing, and in that time period before I even got to like the tutorial on how to play the game, I was already sailing around, going to islands, exploring things, not even on the game. I get to the place I need to go to, and they're like, all right, well, we need to find crew, we need to do this, and the first mission is like, go out and do everything you just did again. I was like, all right, this is how we're gonna play this. Like, okay. I mean, I get it now. I had more fun.
I absolutely hate it when games do that. It's infuriating. Like, yeah, you should go do this. It's like, I went off the beaten track already and did this 3 times, and now you're kind of forcing me to learn your way. It's just annoying. And just games that ignore any progress you've done so far on your own because you didn't follow their strict quota.
I mean, I think I would be willing to say price, the purchase price alone is worth, like, the pirate part's worth that.
I don't. The boat. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's great. It's really, really fun. I will even say it has a part that works on my #1 worst anxiety and fear ever: sharks. Fuck sharks. You can get one of those bells, like, it goes underwater, it keeps all the oxygen in it, and they're underwater missions too. So you swim underwater and you do stuff. I will say I'm not great underwater with the controller. I need a mouse and keyboard for that, because it was like, I just want to go down.
Has there been a single game that's done swimming properly, though? I mean, really now, especially underwater.
But a diving bell. Thank you, chat. There's a lot of really cool things you can do while on the boat, and I'm glad that's the focus. Like, you go to a dock or bay, you can go there and complete like 1 or 2 missions, do an assassination, do some story stuff, talk to your pirate buddies, and then you're immediately back on the boat. And that's where the majority of plot takes place. And I'm like, good, I like this. So it's actually kind of fun. Like, later on, I like got blown forward into the game through like a cheat some guy entered. I don't know, but you end up with Blackbeard just going around, and it's like, we need to sack this ship and this ship so we can lure out this ship so we can do something to this ship. And it's like, that's fun. I don't give a shit about running around sneaking on rooftops. I've done that for 3 games. I like being in my boat.
Only 3? Wow, you've managed to dodge the majority of them.
Brotherhood. I didn't play Brotherhood or
Revelations, the fucking handheld ones. No,
I didn't do
that. The DLC expansions, lest we forget.
Indeed. We certainly should not, and they will make sure we don't.
Mm-hmm. I was very excited. So, I mean, that alone is really worth it. I would get it on PC myself, but, if you like the controllers, go for it, kids.
Apparently they're releasing it in a more reasonable time. It's become a running joke now that every interviewer for PC will immediately ask, so, when's it actually coming out? For every Assassin's Creed game. I just got an email through today from the Uplay store, which means I assume this is PC related. It says now it's coming out on October the 29th instead of November the 14th, which is what I think they were planning for earlier. So yes, I'm not sure if that's the same release date, but it's pretty damn close. Mm-hmm. So that's not too shabby. I'm pretty happy that PC will actually get it at a reasonable time. And this is after a lot of people criticized them for their confused messaging and saying, oh yeah, PC version totally coming out at the same time, and then just not have that happen. So yeah, that's cool. Well, I guess that's the Watch Dogs topic then. I think there's not a person on... Well, I'm just saying there's not a person on this panel that's not okay with it being delayed, right?
Yeah.
No.
It's true.
I'm all right with it. Yeah. But, some quote from some Nintendo bloke, that everyone always brings up every fucking time a game is delayed, which still remains true to this day. Which actually isn't true anymore. It's like a bad game is bad forever. It's like, no. You can patch it and sell $15 DLCs to make it better. That's what Battlefield did, and it's sticking to that to this day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That is true.
What's next on our news list?
Oh, we have so many.
Can we talk about the Steam controller video?
Oh, we could. Yeah. Yeah, and this
I
is
mean,
actually
I
something I
guess-
won't discuss because I've already discussed it on Content Patch, so I'm going to throw it open to the rest of you, and I'm going to chill out and show
nice.
videos to people.
All right. Well, the Steam controller video is just a guy playing like Papers, Please, or
He plays CS:GO and he plays Portal 2
and Civ 5, I think, is the other
Civ
one.
In
5,
360p, no less. Valve, obviously, on the the cutting edge of technology when it comes to video production.
So I actually watched this whole thing and I wrote down notes because I was like, I'm gonna forget this shit.
Oh shit,
Like,
he's prepared.
I know, right? He's talking about how it's he says, and I quote, "It's acting like a mouse and keyboard. It is nothing like a mouse and keyboard. Not
I
at all."
don't understand that either. I understand them saying that like there are different controller layouts so that it can work with any Steam game, and
Right.
there's this layout that we're using for this game that allows it to act to have the same buttons as a mouse and a keyboard would, and you have to figure out which ones those are. That makes sense. But for them to say, yeah, it's just like a mouse and keyboard, wrong. Untrue.
And I feel like that whole thing just seems like a hassle.
You sure? That's exactly how I play with a mouse and keyboard.
You just
mean,
hold
this.
them like this.
Yeah, just like that the whole time.
I mean, it's real. I'm sitting there watching him, and he's like, "No, it's just like this," and he's using the D-pad like he would like a trackpad or whatever on a laptop, and I'm like, those are intolerable. That's why I have a mouse that I use and so I'm just like, okay, whatever. And he's trying to play it, and as he's playing the games, I'm thinking, Portal 2, I guess is what he's playing.
Mm-hmm.
People are already playing that with normal controllers.
Right.
So that's nothing like there's no innovation there. It's like, okay, we have this new thing we made. And then there's Civ 5. I'm like, who in their who the fuck's gonna play that with a controller? That's insane. That's an insane proposition to ask people to do. It's like they're in this weird gray area between console gamers and PC gamers, and they want to be in the middle. Like, we have a new, like, the niche market they're going for is so tiny, it seems like this is destined to fail. Like, the entire proposition is destined to fail, and even no matter how much money they pump into it and how many games they say is like super exclusive, I don't know how this can work. Because it just...
I don't agree with that. Sorry, keep going, Jim.
Oh, I was just going to say, I actually think we're entering a time now where the time is right for niche products. We've got the big mainstream stuff. We've got, like, the iPad. We've got PC. We've got the stuff that covers all the bases. Now's the time for companies to come up with slightly pricier products that are aimed at smaller people.
No, I was going to say, like, I agree, but I think there's a difference between good niche products and niche products that make no fucking sense to me. And this is one of them that I don't understand who this is targeting. Like, niche products, like, I get that people, like, definitely there's some people who like, oh my god, I love this kind of thing. But this is a product that I don't understand who they're going after. Because they're saying
I know a few people who think it's perfect. Like, a lot of my friends actually don't really game. And they're really into this whole idea of the Steam box because they're like, I like the idea of a lot of those PC games. I can't be bothered to set up a PC. Even if you think setting up a gaming rig is easy or whatever, to a lot of people it's not.
It's
not.
And
It's
the perception
entirely
is going to be, you might as well be asking them to build a spaceship. The idea that you can have a Steam machine that plugs into the television and there it is. It's got a lot of appeal to specific people. It might not appeal so much to us, and we therefore can't see it. This is similar to the NVIDIA Shield that came out. I've been talking about this quite a bit. Very few people can see the merit of that. I didn't see the merit in that. Then I played it and realized it was something I wanted. I just didn't know I wanted it. It was perfect for exactly what I wanted. And what I wanted was really very niche. Not everyone's going to want that. Not everyone's going to want a 360 controller you carry in your pocket that lets you play Dead Trigger. But that's exactly what I wanted. And I got it. And obviously that's a rather expensive thing. But then again, they're going after less people. So that is how they're hoping to make their money back. I don't know if the Shield's going to succeed. But that's the direction I think a lot of things are going. And so I think the Steam machine is actually, it's got potential. Whether it will succeed at first is anyone's guess, but there's definitely a market for it. There are people that want that. It's not the kind of mindset we have or would ordinarily have, so it's hard for us to see it, but there are people looking at that thinking, that's exactly what I wanted.
Yeah, Brooke,
Yeah.
You said that you disagreed basically with Jesse's view on it. I'd like to hear your thoughts on.
I do because I think that, this was a video that was put together to showcase a bunch of very different games and how this controller can be compatible with it. There are quite a few people who get excited when they find out that they can use a PC 360 controller on a platformer that's on Steam. And while that is most of them, I think that the idea of creating a controller that can apply to literally every Steam game in some way if you want it is a good idea, because people like being able to use a controller with a decent number of games. So I don't necessarily think that it's that niche. I think that this video makes it seem niche because they focus so much on games that would be difficult with a controller, and that's exactly the reason why they made it. To be like, look, you can play Papers, Please, and the way that it's focused is how like you can use both of these pads to track as though it was a mouse going all the way across the screen.
Please
And while
actually looked good on that thing. The others I wasn't so impressed with, but like I love Papers, Please, but the mouse, you've got to do everything bit by bit. It's kind of sluggish. It's like, I've got to open this, then I've got to do this. Using that trackpad and I'm guessing buttons on the shoulders or whatever to just do things at once, he made it look really fluid. It looks like something you'd have to get used to, but once you get used to it, I could see that being a really fluid, smooth way of playing Papers, Please.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I could not disagree more. The amount of time and energy developed that you have to put into learning all that to just do something you could do with a mouse, it to me is just intolerable. And the fact that when Dodger, you're saying like, oh, well, these people are going to want this, and they're really looking forward to the games that you can play, I want to talk to those people because I'm convinced the majority of them are like, I just want to play a platformer with a really good controller. I still am looking to meet the people who are like, I want to play this game that's really good with a mouse and keyboard with I get that the games they used were like, this is an example of the wide spectrum you can play, but I have a feeling that wide spectrum will not apply in this at all. Like, I don't imagine there's ever going to be a person who's like, you know what I want? I want to do Civ 5 with a controller. Like, that would I don't understand.
Here's what Jim said, though, which I think kind of works in that respect, and I do kind of agree with him on this point. It's the same issue with the Shield, is that you don't really know that you want to do it. No one goes out of their way to say, you know what would be great? Playing Civilization 5 on the TV downstairs. It's something that they may try because you're like, I've been at my PC all fucking day, and this is an issue for me as well, that I want to be away from my PC. I want to get out of this chair, get out of this room, go somewhere else in the fucking house.
Play another game.
And play a different game.
Only gamers have that issue.
Yeah,
that's really funny.
It's true, though.
Strangely enough, last night, Chris and Jen were playing Outlast on the TV downstairs. Mm-hmm. And how did they do that, you might ask, without the mysterious technology of Gabe N? Well, they got a laptop and plugged in an HDMI cable that was really fucking difficult.
Exactly.
But I just played that, and it's like, oh, now we can use the surround sound from the TV instead of a pair of headphones. Now we can play this on a very expensive and very fucking awesome television instead of my small, shittier monitor or my laptop screen or anything like that. And I think they did actually play it with a keyboard and mouse just on their lap. And they didn't use controller for it, but I think you can for Outlast anyway. But there are moments, actually, where, yes, you do want to be downstairs. It's a little more social as well. Like, instead of sitting in your office in your room playing with your computer, playing downstairs is kind of cool because someone else can sit on the couch and watch you, and you can have a bit of banter going. Maybe they can join in if it's a co-op game or anything like that. And it's one of the strengths the consoles have traditionally had. And you have to get past that point simply because PC games use keyboard and mouse by default. And you can say, oh, we can play some games with a controller. Yeah. Like when I was messing around with my Razer Edge and I decided to put it in big picture mode, it has a list of controller compatible games that are in your library, and it's less than half for the most part. So like, oh, well, I kind of wanted to play this, and maybe like it has partial controller support, which means that for the most part it doesn't work the way you want it to. Or maybe it just has no controller support, even though you think that maybe it should. This is especially true with legacy games, by the way. Anything older, anything from GOG, good fucking luck playing that on a 360 pad. And so on and so forth. I think of the three things that they're doing right now, the controller's maybe the least niche of all of them. And I don't know if it's necessarily going to do the job, but
yeah, I feel like it would lack precision. I feel like there's a lot of things there that I have issue with.
It might.
I don't know if I'm a pessimist or just a supreme realist, but even when the came out, I was like, I don't see it.
Well, so most people thought that, though. That was not a new opinion.
I still see it. I see it in the...
How much?
I see it in a thing like the Yuya, just not the Yuya. There is a thing, it's... Actually, again, it goes back to the Shield thing. The NVIDIA Shield does what the Yuya should have done. And again, it goes back to that thing of this is actually doing what I wanted, I just didn't know it was going to do it.
Yeah.
And that could be that thing. I mean, none of us have... I don't think any of us have tried the tracky pad thing yet.
No.
I certainly haven't. And it certainly looks like one of those things that I'm just... It was to say, oh, hell, I was kind of skeptical on the Oculus Rift for a while until I put the fucker on.
Oh, yeah.
Then that changed my mind like that.
Everyone in the universe who ever tried that has exactly the same reaction, myself included.
I will definitely agree with that. The first time I put one on, it was like mind-blowing. Although, as a man who wears glasses, I was a little disappointed that was there. But
they're working on that.
Yeah. But, I mean, with that said, though, I was really impressed. But then realist pessimist Jesse's like, in a year, what kind of, like, how is this going to be used? What is this? I mean, is it just another peripheral that will fade away? Is this something that, I don't know. I just constantly, I'm the guy who doesn't buy collector's editions in video games because I'm like, when am I ever going to fucking need a cup that says Beyond Two Souls on it? Right? Like, I don't need
Thank
an
God
in-game
you
pet.
people
That's
exist
dumb.
because I am so...
get a shitload of play out of it. I do so much with this.
Are you going to add that to your dildo collection? I've got to ask.
I have one back there, too. I have the exact same thing behind me. But I didn't buy it. See, that's the difference. Is stuff gets sent to me, and I'm like, oh, I'll take this shit. But I'm always like, oh, no, you get an extra gun in in-game purchases and stuff. I'm like, I'll never, like, once I'm done with this, I'll never use it again, and I can't justify it. So
that and it fucking ruined my experience because it was way better than all the other guns I had. So I got the joy of collecting new guns was lost to me. It's the same with fucking Borderlands, and I hate that. Despise it. I toss those things immediately in every game, except when they don't let you, like Dead Space 3. It's like, well, you can disassemble it, but that means you got parts to make something crazy. Like, I don't want to do that. I want to get that in the natural course of the game.
That's been something kind of funny about Jesse and I playing Dead Space 3 together, is Jesse's totally the type of person to be like, I'm going to make a crazy gun right now. It's going to be crazy. And I'm like,
I have a flamethrower that shoots grenades.
And for me, I go to the deck and I'm like, can I just upgrade it? What's the easiest, simplest way to just make this gun a little better so I can move on? Like, I don't get any enjoyment out of that process at all.
Yeah. So, games. Hooray.
Steam controller.
Games.
Yes.
Steam controllers.
Yeah. I mean, I got to admit, as a kind of repeating myself based on what I said on my show a couple of days ago, I'm interested, and the proof of the pudding is in the eating. I think probably the most damning bit of it was Civ 5, because it's like, this is a pain in the arse. And strangely enough, I've actually played Civ 5 with a touchscreen because they have that option in the expansion. So let's play it on the Razer Edge with Windows 8 touchscreen. And it's way better than that. I tell you that for a fact. It's like, wow, this is actually pretty good. And I could see myself playing like this. I played Hearthstone with a touchscreen just because I played it on the Edge. It doesn't have touchscreen support yet, but it's like, actually, tossing cards at people with gusto, way better than the mouse. Trust me. You gotta get aggressive with that thing. It's like, take that.
You get to feel like Gambit.
Yeah.
On shy.
Exactly. So, you need some multi-touch support so you can, like, this card, this card, this card. Whoosh.
Yes.
And you just pose like that for several seconds afterwards.
Yeah.
No one sees it, but you know.
You know.
Exactly.
You're aware.
You know you did it. They need to put cam support in that
Then
game
you
so you can
start
do
filming yourself doing it,
that. Yeah, and then that's when your sad
Like,
spiral to
I need
despair begins.
Pick always.
Yeah. And then it's a short step away from holding it over your junk and just going, would you fuck me?
Yeah, that's true. It's surprisingly easy to do at that point. But anyway.
I mean, that's the natural progression, right?
Yeah.
I don't know why you went down. It was straight up.
I mean,
It's the rule of Buffalo Bill. Just all natural
much.
things progress there.
Touchscreen, gambit, penis. Simple.
Yep.
Simple as that. That needs to be on a shirt. You can have that one. That's a free one.
My tongue is starting to turn purple.
Touchscreen and gambit and penis.
Yes.
Penis. Venus.
Indeed.
All right, any other news?
What's next?
Yeah, so there was that. Yeah, Steam controller. We could go into this interesting Guardian article if you like. I'm probably going to do a
Why
full...
would you want to do that?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe because it's the first time I've been misquoted in a major international newspaper. That's always nice. It's when you know you've made it, right?
Amazing.
It's when you know you've made it.
There's a certain perverse joy in finding yourself in a mainstream paper.
There kind of
yeah.
is. It's an interesting article. I'm going to do a full video, not just on the article, because I think that the interesting point to be brought from that is not actually the nonsense that was in there, such as Amnesia. Amnesia: The Dark Descent was about jump scares. I'm sorry, what?
Yeah.
Says the
I didn't
developer of
understand
Machine for
that
Pigs.
either.
No, it isn't. No, it was not that at all. In fact, it was praised for not being that. And
I think maybe they just, like, everything they know about it, they got from YouTube reaction videos.
Probably.
That was their research.
There definitely does seem to be a little bit of that in there, because they also made some comments about DRS. It's like, well, you know, that I want to make sure I don't misquote them, because then that would make me a horrible person.
The awful circle of misquotes.
Yeah. Well, there was a nice little quote that's from here that says, "Last I checked, I don't sit around playing Call of Duty in my pants slurping Mountain Dew and Doritos." It's like, this is not a good way to explain the fact that not everybody liked your game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just really... Like,
Oh, actually, never mind. That actually did did
Misquote?
actually come from a comment on the article.
Misquoted!
Yeah, misquoting. There you go.
Misquote!
The main problem
Daily
is...
Mail!
Yeah, Daily Mail. Yeah, it is... No, they did definitely make some remarks about, you know, the kind of like and hate thing. But the most interesting thing about it was, at least for me anyway, it won't be interesting for anybody else, but that they came up with this idea. Here's the quote from the article. Curry took it even further, explaining that she was taken aback by the vehemence of the response to experimentation of the form. What I'm really surprised by is that people see Dear Esther as an attack on games. We've destroyed the games industry, according to TotalBiscuit, said Dan Pinchbeck. With the greatest amount of pride in Dear Esther, it ain't that significant. It's like...
Are you sure you never said that during a podcast?
I
or something?
am absolutely certain that I have not said that ever.
Are you sure you
feel like
never
you might have
said that? Like, jokingly, but they were like... Oh.
Are they watching right now? Look, guys.
Hi.
You're kind of letting us down.
Yeah.
I mean, you are destroying the game industry.
You're destroying
I mean,
the game
pretty much
industry.
He didn't
though.
say that.
The reason why I don't get a Dead Space 4 is your fault, guys. You ruined... you're
Also,
basically-
you
you're
put a
the
space
EA
in my
of the
name,
game
which,
industry.
in my opinion, is just astonishingly insulting.
Total
They
Space
Yeah.
Biscuit.
Indeed, Total Space Biscuit.
Total
as well.
Space Biscuit?
Yeah. You're having... apparently, we're having a couple of issues with the stream, by the way, guys. It's lagging a little bit on the video side of things. It's fine. You can hear the audio. It'll probably fix itself in due time. There's nothing I can do about it, so I'm not even going to bother.
As
But
long as they
it's-
heard Total Space Biscuit. I'm
yeah,
good.
you heard that. Yeah.
In my view, the Chinese room is destroying this podcast.
I
Indeed.
agree.
True. It's obviously
That's
true.
what's happening right now. There's a lot of interesting stuff, because it seems to kind of contradict what they were saying there. They're saying, Dear Esther is not that significant. Well, it was significant enough to write 20 paragraphs on how it seems to be a victimized game and how the Chinese room are kind of martyrs to their art or whatever. I really dislike that just general attitude. People did not say you are destroying the games industry. That I can tell you for a fact. That is not something that anyone of any import has ever said. And it comes down to the idea that actually Dear Esther is not an attack on the genre, because it's not even a part of the genre, in my honest opinion.
That's
it is...
the thing.
Someone used the term virtual installation, which I think is perfect.
That's it's a very good term for it. Because I would say the interaction is minimal, but there's no interaction. You just move.
It's not minimal. There's
Yeah, you
none
just
of it.
move. Yeah. And
I don't know.
and
I would still call it a game, if only for the fact that it's not a game is often used as a cop-out to avoid criticism.
True.
They do this
Yep.
with, Tale of Tales? Those guys that did The Path?
Oh, the path, yes.
The path
I didn't say
is-
the path. What's the path?
The Path.
It's a path.
The Path.
I'm sorry, you're southern,
Path?
so...
Yes.
I'm northern, so
Uh,
it's a path. It's a path. We're
Right, that
cooking.
game they put out to Path.
We're cooking on the path.
Oh yeah, eating some bubbles.
Hey, up.
Take it home. Here.
British.
They brought that out, and I was criticizing the fuck out of that because it's shit. And a lot of people are like, oh, you can't criticize it because it's not a game. And I'm like, well, they're selling it on Steam.
Yeah, you're selling it on Steam. It's
yeah.
not under the applications tab. That means it's a fucking game, at least according to Steam. This is one of the biggest problems I had with it as well. That it was sold and it had genres attached to it. Let's visit Steam right now as it covers the Windows. My apologies for that. Let's visit Steam and look up Dear Esther. And let's see what genres it's in. Let's see. Genre. Adventure. Indie. Casual. Those are the genres that it put itself in.
It's a game, and I say that not to defend it. I say it to further damn it. And a game by its nature is any form of entertainment that you can interact with, and your interaction progresses it. Mm-hmm. By the dictionary definition, Dear Esther is a game, and that allows me license to criticize the fuck out of it.
Oh, go for it. Sorry.
I was just going to say as a disclaimer, I say this as someone who does have a measure of respect for the Chinese room, and I didn't think Amnesia: A Machine for Pigs was as good as The Dark Descent, or indeed many horror games, but I did think it was a good and interesting game. It was more of a kind of dark story than a horror game, but it still had some merit to it. So I just want to say that I do respect them, just because I don't want the whole David Cage thing to happen where people think I hate the guy when I actually kind of respect the guy. I just disagree with everything that comes out of his mouth.
Right.
So yeah.
I think the thing that this article, especially a lot of things I see them in, it really exemplifies is that just, Dear Esther, just like David Cage games or whatever, it's a form of art and they have their own way of expressing themselves. Great. We get it. But I think they need to be aware that that same argument, you can't keep using that, especially in the case of Amnesia, when we get that you made this new piece of art that you guys love and it's people to play. The reason people are mad is because the first game they love so much and you made a game that wasn't what they wanted for a second game. And they're mad about that. They're not attacking you and damning your art.
With sequels.
Yeah, it's because you took over something that people liked and you took it in one particular direction. I'm okay with Dear Esther existing. If you want to make 10 more Dear Esthers, by all means, especially now since people know what you're doing and you can't kind of mislead them with the idea that it's anything more than a virtual installation. But the strange thing about the article is that they talk about jump scares a lot. And a lot of this kind of interjected by the writer, I feel, but the guys from Chinese Room do mention this directly. And they said, we wanted to make a horror game. There was a distinction in our mind between making a horror game and making a game with jump scares in it. They're not the same, and we really shared that in early conversations with Frictional as well. And they were really anti-jump scares. That's not horror, that's just jump scares. So we want to make a game that would get under people's skin on a deeper level. It's like, yes, but the implication is that you're saying the previous Amnesia, bearing in mind that you made a lot of changes to it, was more of the kind of reliance on jump scares and mechanical horror, as opposed to yours, which you feel is more cerebral, I suppose. And I just think that there's either a lack of understanding or a willful dismissal of what actually made the original Amnesia scary, because you took a lot of that away with Machine for Pigs.
I don't know that they think that about the first game, because I think they're saying jump scares in general. I'm not sure what that quote refers to.
It's this weird implication, because it's taking that while you're explaining your departure and bringing up jump scares. Why do you even need to bring that up? Because there weren't jump scares in the original. Why is this even part of the conversation? Unless you're making an implication about the first game.
But even further to that, I'm sick of this self-aggrandizing, arrogant, chin-stroking dismissal of games that have jump scares in them. They're valid. I'm fucking sick of it. Oh, I'm above jump scares. A reason they're in games is because they fucking work. Yeah. And if they're done well, they're done fucking well.
They're part of your arsenal, really, when it comes to generating horror.
Oh, absolutely.
They're a tool.
Yeah, and to use them really well takes a lot more skill than people think it does.
Yeah.
If a jump scare is effective, it still needs a ton of cerebral build to it, of psychological sort of torture that leads you up to the jump scare.
Yeah.
That takes skill. It's not just a ghost jumping out of a box going boo. You play something like Outlast. No. You play something like Outlast, which is a lot of jump scares, it's still a phenomenal game. And I will take that to the grave.
And Outlast, though, but even in Outlast, there's some moments in there that the jump scares aren't as effective as other jump scares, where it happens and you're just like, well, that occurred. Like, and it's, I mean,
Oh, sure, they
Yeah, it makes mistakes.
yeah. And that just gets to the point exactly. Like, there's some times where jump scares aren't as effective, and it's all about setting and move. Like, you have to have all the things that they wanted to put in Machine for Pigs to get those jump scares perfect. Like, you have to have.
You've got to be just as good. And the best thing about Outlast is some of those lame jump scares are just setups for the ones that really get you. It's like a lame jump scare. Oh, okay, I'm used to this. Holy shit! It's that kind of thing. And that takes fucking skill. And it really dismays me when I see people just sneer at jump scares like they're better than that. And to say it's not horror, I'm like, again, respect to Chinese room, but fuck you on that. Seriously, that's like looking at like Nightmare on Elm Street and Friday the 13th and going, oh, they're not horror films. They're just dumb slasher films. No, it's a type of horror. It's a type of horror, and fuck you for being the arbiter of what gets to be in the genre and what doesn't.
Yeah, and it's like, are you implying that previous kind of staples of the horror game genre have not been horror games up to this point until you were able to reinvent the genre with your lack of anything? Well, yeah, that didn't work out so well there, honestly.
Yeah. And you're really no different at that point than, a film critic like Roger Ebert saying something like games aren't art. Mm-hmm. You've appointed yourself once again this arbiter of what is and isn't your favorite thing.
Yeah, which I'm okay with you doing as long as you're making your own games and not sequel to other people's games that people enjoyed in the first place.
And that I think is the fundamental problem here. Is they are super defending all their art and everything they've done. Great, you have the right to do that, just like everyone else has the right to accuse you of stuff. But it's harder for you to do it when you've come in to make a sequel to a game that people are expecting a certain level of, like, we want this, this, and this, and you don't provide it.
Yes.
And so they're going to jump on you for that shit, and you got to take your licking because you were the ones who said, we'll handle this.
Yeah, you elected to make the sequel to one of the best horror games ever invented.
Yeah, and it's not like they're not allowed to do what they did with A Machine for Pigs. It's valid. Oh. But at the same time, you are going to open yourself up to new criticism, and you're going to have to take that. Like, do it, by all means. Again, I liked Machine for Pigs for what it was. I did like its story, and I liked some of its more sort of just slightly eerie aspects rather than its horror aspects. Mm-hmm. It's valid, but at the same time, people are going to criticize you if they go into it expecting an evolution of Dark Descent and get something else.
And I think what sucks is that, like, in the end, they're just being offensive to us, saying, oh, you're not refined enough to understand this artistic thing that we made. Like,
I'm
if you want
refined enough
jump
to
scares, go
understand
somewhere
that
else.
Dear
And it's
was
like,
a waste of my fucking time.
It's not only that, but it's like, if you didn't find something to be interesting or scary, that's not something you can control.
No,
it's like,
it isn't.
I played this game, and I personally got nothing out of it. And if you say that and someone's response to it is, well, you didn't get it. It's like, well, that's your fault. You're supposed to scare me.
and you're doing your own art form a disservice if you're going to shut out any criticism by saying you just don't get it. At that point, you have decimated your own creative evolution. If an artist who can't take that kind of criticism and will just shut down a criticism of what they've made with you just don't get it, like, you're not getting their problem with it, and if you're in that deadlock, you've got no chance to improve. And again, this goes back to the David Cage thing of the guy who had my editor-in-chief at his mercy for an hour, talking about, like, just dismissing all of my criticisms with, fuck him, this game's important because it got a 90.
It's the artist that didn't get it in that respect.
More or less, yeah.
I feel like in the case of the Chinese room, the one thing that, like, I just want to give them a hug and say, like, it's okay, because I feel like they got so much shit for Dear Esther that they came into this already with the walls up. Like, we're going to fight this to the death. I feel like that's where they're coming from. And I just want to be like, guys, it's okay. Let's hug it out.
Did
it's
it
okay.
at the expense of someone else's franchise.
And I understand
okay
that.
with them doing it on their own. It's the idea that they've taken so much away from the original Amnesia, and what have they given back? What is in that game versus the Dark Descent that they do better? And frankly, I've done an absurd amount of research on this game because I was really interested in the arguments surrounding it. I've watched so many videos on it. I basically watched the entire game on YouTube multiple times just because I was really intrigued by the whole discussion. And my conclusion is they have not added anything to it. They have merely subtracted and said, this is now better. And in some cases, you can argue that some games do need a little bit of streamlining. But I don't think Dark Descent was that game. I really don't. So yes, that was interesting, to say the least.
It would have done fine. This game would have done great, probably, if
By
they didn't
itself?
call it an Amnesia game.
Exactly. I agree with you 100% on that. The entire all this like backlash is because all the Amnesia people, and I want to say a majority of them, are based off of jump scare like YouTubers, like that's their thing. And so
Amnesia did get a lot of popularity from that, let's be honest, which is unfortunate because it is treated as more of a kind of jump scare, oh, look at Slender kind of nonsense game.
It becomes the whole...
it's not.
It's what we were talking about with Dark Souls. It's that whole misrepresentation,
Yes.
so everyone thinks it's attitude.
But it
is
actually
that way
wasn't
when it's
Frictional's fault this time around. It's just...
like
So,
I mean there's several, you can think of a million scenes in Amnesia that weren't jump scare that was horrifying. I can think of 3 jump scares that I was like, holy shit. Most of it, the rest of it was like, for example, when you're in the water, that water level, like that wasn't a jump scare. That was just like, I cannot see the guy who's trying to kill me.
That was sheer
Fuck this
terror.
game.
Well, I did that bit for my video a while ago, and that, whoa, okay.
Uh-oh.
Group video is not.
Group
What do you mean
video is
unavailable at the
unavailable.
moment? What the hell does that mean? Let's try turning our cameras on again, guys.
You just got Chinese room, dude.
Yeah.
Chinese room hack.
They're taking away from the show now. It's like, no,
and that
we
was a
needed the
very
video.
real jump scare for me.
That was
gosh.
that was terrifying. There we go. They're taking away from the video. It's like, no, the video takes away from the overall experience. So we're gonna remove that now. So it's
No,
Concentrate on the story.
Fix it.
and
next
feel
Chinese
the
room game will
emotion.
be a text adventure. Only you will never have to press anything other than N for North.
Has there been
Dear Esther,
like
the text adventure.
a good text adventure in a while?
It's mostly an indie scene now of stuff that's made for free. It still very much exists. I think they call it IF, in interactive fiction, these days.
IF? Oh.
There are
Yeah.
text adventures in Saints Row 4 that are really
Yes,
funny.
that's the great revival of text adventures coming in right there.
Great
Or
survival of the text adventure.
or if you're ever on 4chan, there are erotic game text adventures.
Oh, I'm
You should go look
sure. I'm
those
sure
up.
those exist.
No doubt. Yes.
Don't go to 4chan, kids. You will
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
Just don't.
And Machine for Pigs is a weird story because, like, it wasn't initially designed as a sequel, but you put the word amnesia on it. So there was someone, I can't remember who, and I wish I could credit them on this video and this idea, is that Amnesia could be a franchise made by different people, and each Amnesia game would have its own spin on it and be different, and those expectations wouldn't necessarily be there. The thing is that doesn't exist in video games right now, to the best of my knowledge. I don't think there's really... Every time that a franchise has been
cool
given
if
to
it
somebody
did.
else, it's always
sucks.
got worse.
I would love to see an Amnesia made by Infinity Ward.
Yes.
Who wouldn't?
Admittedly, that would basically be the same as Machine for Pigs, only you'd have someone there to open the doors for you instead of
Yes.
just having the green locks and everything. But
We'll just get David Cage to
And
make it.
the main character would die like every half an hour.
yeah, certainly. And then you just switch out to a different character with a slightly different camo lamp.
Yeah,
That'd be
and
great.
then like halfway through, control will be wrested from you and forced to look at a child being shot. And then it'll flash up on the screen, feel something, and then it'll snap back.
In the sequel, you have a dog that carries your lamp for you, but halfway through the game, it falls down a hole. You have to go try and find him.
Yeah, and if you go in the water, the fish move towards you.
Ooh.
For that is scary.
What if there's a shark chasing those fish? I'm done. I'm done. I'll play that game.
Oh god, I think a little poo came out.
Just a little bit.
It's just a
Sorry,
little.
you're close to the break. You can
Yes.
clean it up later. Yeah, it's a really interesting article. I mean, I disagree with most of what's said there. I especially disagree with the fucking making up quotes about me. So in retaliation, I made up some quotes about them, and now I feel better about myself.
And to be fair though, the writer is actually something of a friend of mine. So
Yeah, I spoke to her on Twitter earlier
Yeah.
about it, actually. She asked, Cara Ellison is the writer, she asked me to
Yeah.
email her. It's like, I might do that. I might just leave it up there because I think it's hilarious. Like, it goes on my list of amazing quotes that I've managed to get on things over the last few weeks.
Keep that there. Keep that there.
It's
That's
like,
great.
now
Keep
I've got
it.
a made-up one in a major international newspaper. It's fantastic. I just
But
need
yeah,
to
the
keep going.
person, Cara Ellison is, when it comes to game journalism, she is one of the best because she
It's
does.
well written. It's a
She
well written
fucks
article.
with, like, the rules of normal game journalists. Like,
Yeah.
she'll go to preview events and spend half an hour upsetting the developers because she will just open and close a chest of drawers over and over again for the whole event because she knows preview events are mostly bullshit.
Yeah.
So she's pretty on the level, and she would have definitely fixed that. She certainly fixed the misspelling in my name because I'm in that article as well, Sterling with an
She
I.
can get rid of the... that's the only thing I'll email. Get rid of the
Please.
space between Total and Biscuit, and I'm fine with the quote being there, even though it's unequivocally false.
I want there to be someone out there, like a guy named Total Biscuit, and that's his full name.
It's actually
He's like,
his
"Oh,
quote."
No such thing.
Actually, his quote, yeah, it's not you.
I do like the sign-off line from that, by the way, which is from the writer, which is, "Dear Esther is still out in the wild destroying the games industry as far as we know." It's like, yes. That's... it. You know, it's a good article. I think the Chinese room are a bit full of themselves, honestly, which is ironic and strange considering they're quoting a man that makes YouTube videos on the internet as kind of one of the sources of people that attack them. It's like, no, I just didn't like Dear Esther, and I don't like what you did to Amnesia. And I have a bunch of very good reasons for that that are firmly rooted in what I believe is required to make a compelling gaming experience. And the fact of the matter is that Brothers exists, ergo you cannot argue that it is impossible to marry fucking game mechanics with narrative and storytelling in a way that actually is exemplary and completely proves games are a legitimate form of media that are different to other kinds of
It
media.
sounds like you just don't get it.
Obviously, I don't get
I don't
it.
think you understand.
No.
If you were more refined, perhaps you'd
Yeah.
see
Indeed.
It's like the
artistic
Metacritic.
creation.
See how they
I
changed
I need to quaff. Just give me a moment. Yes. Now would be a good time to go to a break, I think. When we come back, we'll look at the forthcoming releases for the next couple of weeks, and maybe we'll fit a host topic in there. That might happen. You're watching the Co-optional podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Do not go anywhere. Welcome back to the Co-optional podcast. Perfectly fucking timed.
So much casserole.
All that
So
casserole.
much casserole.
Indeed.
Look, we always try.
You do try. Most of the time you fail, but you've been on point 2 for 2 this time around, I think.
So far, so
Well done.
good.
Well done, guys. Well done.
Thank you.
You've done your job. Let's have a look at releases, shall we? What's coming out this week, you might ask? Well, I can tell you. I have that information. I have the technology. I have a list.
Valhalla Knights 3
Indeed.
came out today.
Yep. Dodger, you're in charge this time around. Go.
Oh, shoot. Okay. Valhalla Knights 3 came out for Vita and PlayStation. So there you go.
What is Two Brothers?
I don't know.
That's not the
But
game
it came
that
out
we
today
played.
for PC, Mac, and
It is not
Linux.
Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons. Maybe
No,
it's the
so-
Asylum Mockbuster version of it. That would be brilliant.
Starring
Two
Dean
Brothers
Payne.
game.
It was a Kickstarter.
Oh, Two Brothers Giant Bomb. Kickstarter 5.
Okay. Oh, we got you back.
I don't see.
You went quiet there for a second.
What?
It looks like it's a Kickstarter.
As did you. Is this only cutting out for me?
It's cutting out for me too.
Alright, yeah.
Now Dodger's totally silent.
This is a very odd thing. Oh dear. This is probably not going to go well. Alright, so we lost Dodger. I guess this is what happens when we have her do some work on the show. Damn it.
She knew. She's
Going
out.
back to Valhalla Knights for a second, I'd like to point out that the fucking thumbnail for this is an absolute disgrace.
Oh.
Oh,
There I
you're
am,
back?
hello.
Yeah, turn your camera back on. There we go.
I did.
I'd love to try and show you the thumbnail, but YouTube got rid of yet another really useful function, the ability to basically press stop and get the thumbnail in larger screen.
Right? I hate that so much. That used to be great.
Yeah, so I'll try and show you. I'll have to show you it in a smaller screen here. Please note the thumbnail for Valhalla Knights 3's trailer right here. Let's just say those expecting a fantasy RPG may have been expecting it in the wrong way. And then I look down to 10 minutes of gameplay, scroll down to that, and it's an elf of some sort wearing next to nothing.
Sounds about right.
It's like,
Here's the
hey,
thing.
What the fuck?
I think everyone has
don't
learned.
have an explanation for any of this. I'm gonna put the And I'll put the trailer up as we go through and try and figure out what the hell this is.
Does that work? Because I can start doing all my thumbnails with me wearing panties. And
Oh, it works incredibly well.
It works
I'll start
incredibly
doing
well.
that then.
But
It works,
they are starting to flag you if you have boobs in your thumbnail.
Huh.
Here-
Even if you actually have boobs?
I will
Interesting
keep my
deeds.
shirt on there.
If it's literally just like, hey, here's my thumbnail, they'll flag you for it.
Huh.
It worked back. I'm trying to think of the name of the game. Ebony Online. It worked for them.
Oh,
When they-
yes, it did.
Play
and-
online now, my lord.
Right, like I'm waiting for you, my lord. And it was this woman. And it was just like tits everywhere.
It was basically just a farming simulator. That was the hilarious. Like, for
Yeah,
men
I
only.
remember
Oh,
that.
God. I'm looking at this right now. This is apparently a trailer from Japan. It's nothing but tits and ass. This is, by the way, for those of you who don't know what Valhalla Knights 3 actually is, it's a 7-on-7 team-based action RPG, and
No,
this
I'm
is the
pretty sure
fucking
from
trailer.
This, it's a maid cafe game. I'm pretty sure, going by this trailer.
What the fuck?
What is happening in this trailer?
I'd like to imagine. I don't speak or read Japanese, but I'd like to imagine that says like
That
tits,
Parts
tits
coming
and
out of the trailer.
ass,
Tits
Oh, he's
everywhere.
gonna poke the tits on the
vagina
PS.
poking.
He touched the boobies. He touched the boobies.
I thought this looked fake until it's like, no, it actually is. Oh, Christ, what the fuck?
This game is fantastic.
And here we go, gameplay. There we go. A minute and a half into the trailer, we've got some gameplay. Some of this,
Jesus.
the actual 7-on-7 party. Oh no, back to tits. Never mind.
That's
That's
this is the reason
unnatural.
for me to get a
Can you
Vita.
imagine if the trailer for Silence of the Lambs started with this?
Jesus.
Just
This
hearts
is-
coming out of Jodie Foster's vagina before we then see fucking Anthony Hopkins eat a face.
Although this does prove my theory that I think I've told Dodger a million times.
Huh.
When it's doing it very well. When it comes to anime girls, there are 3 types: small boobs, medium boobs, big boobs. That's it. That's character development, and those are the 3 types you get.
Yeah.
And this is proving it entirely. There's like big boob cow pattern girl, and then it's like next to her is like medium boob girl, and there's a little tiny boob girl. It's perfect. This is Look, I'm gonna get
I'm
a Vita.
rooting for them to
You can,
succeed.
you can go ahead and play this game, Jesse, as much as you want.
Oh, I'm gonna come over to your apartment and sit around playing this game and be like, oh yeah, make really weird noises while you're trying to work. Be like, yeah,
like-
yeah, that's right. Poke that shit, girl. Yeah. Yeah, ass to ass.
No.
You know, I'm beginning to see the Chinese room's point.
I will be sold on this game if there is bag punching.
Yeah.
There's just a whole
Where's all the
thing.
bag punching? Okay, so next up on the list.
So that's a game we will not
African
buy,
Adventures.
incidentally. I was hoping
way,
that would
by the
be
way-
a reason to get out my Vita again. It very clearly isn't. Next.
It's not that one.
But
Yes.
by the way,
Yes,
just
Jesse?
for those the Two Brothers game looks exactly like an old school Game Boy game, like color wise, all of it.
Yeah, it looks really cool, actually.
Yeah, so that might be fun to play.
Oh, I think I saw the trailer for that when it was first on Kickstarter now.
Oh, oh, Christ, it really does. It's by
Yeah, like
Axe
straight up.
Studios. Yes. Let's have a quick look at that, because, we can bring it up with the wonders of technology here. Come on. All right, Axe Studios, you don't need your logo to be on screen for 10 seconds. Thank you very much. Yeah, that actually does look like a Game Boy game. It's even in 4x3 by the looks of it. Come on, you can get the presents thing off the screen. That was there for 10 seconds now as well. Can we actually... There we go, some gameplay. Excellent. He walked 3 more feet. And then exploded. Huh.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting. I haven't seen that for a while.
It's legit. I mean, like, a lot of indie games go for that whole retro thing, but doing the retro thing in an original way, they're still playing that.
Yeah, I certainly think so. I don't remember the last game that I played that wasn't... Oh, what the hell was the name of that one that went kind of through the ages? It wasn't that great.
Evoland.
Yes, I was not a massive fan of that one, but
I quite liked it. It was cute.
it was cute, certainly.
yeah, I
But
think that's it was cute.
it didn't quite do... It didn't quite do the job for me, but it did have a lot of different graphic styles, whereas a lot of retro games these days are either just 8-bit or 16-bit graphic style.
Yeah.
8-bit, generally hideous, with some exceptions. 16-bit, hopefully done well, and the kind of style that I like. But this is actually really interesting.
I want to see a developer go really brave with it and bring us a PS1.
Oh,
Give us
that's
PS1
gutsy.
graphics and
That's
and
fucking
package it
gutsy.
as nostalgia.
Yep. There's a reason why we
Dude,
don't
this
do
game
that
looks
anymore.
Crazy.
This has got something going for it.
Whoa, it's changed.
It has, yeah.
That was something else. That was going more on the 16-bit.
Yeah.
Huh.
It looks like they do flick between them by the looks of it. It's like, hey, it's Game Boy, this is Game Boy Color, this is Game Boy Advance right here.
Huh. Now it's Secret of Mana.
Yes.
Now it's another thing.
I think I'm sold.
There's a polygon in there somewhere. Yeah.
I see some pixels involved.
That is interesting. I need to try that. That's actually coming out. It's out today, apparently. Mm-hmm. What else?
Another game that is out today
is
Cabela's African Adventures for PS3, Xbox 360, and Wii. Allow me to read you the description.
Oh, no.
Explore the vast wilderness of Africa on foot and by vehicle, where you'll go head-to-head with the most ferocious beasts on the planet as you attempt to take down the biggest of the big five. The rhino, the lion, the leopard, the Cape buffalo, and the African elephant.
Oh, I was a bit skeptical till you mentioned the African elephant.
Yeah, the elephant is obviously
That's legit.
a big five. So, that's...
Super legit.
I tell you what,
that's today.
I like the... I've never played a Cabela game, but I like their attitude. They know what they are, and they don't give a fuck.
They're like, whatever, haters.
Yeah, they're just... This is what we are. Have some evil wolves. They did that once. They will just throw random weird stuff in their games because they know no one cares.
And it's still published by Activision. It's been published by Activision for fucking years. They don't stop.
It's got an audience. They know they've got that audience in the bag, so they're just like, what the fuck ever? Have evil wolves. Here's an elephant. It's going to knock your car over.
There you go.
You're being chased by alligators.
Another great game coming out today is Wipeout, Create, and Crash for Xbox 360, Wii U, and 3DS.
I hate every time a Wipeout game comes out because I get a little bit of hope in my heart before it's instantly dashed. It's like, psygnosis.
Just don't hold hope. Holding on to hope is for weenies. Don't do it with video games. You'll always cry.
There's an announcement trailer for this. Don't worry, I should run
Show
it all. 40 seconds of this wonder.
Show it.
It's even got the ABC logo on it with John Anderson and John Henson. Who the fuck are these people?
The people who host the show.
Oh, so it's like a rubbish fun house then. With Pat Sharp.
Yeah.
And you
great.
don't. Well, Jim
Fun
does.
house,
Jim knows.
it's a real
lot of fun. Rises to be one. Yeah.
It's a real wacky show where anything can go.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember that. Oh, Pat Sharp.
Pat Sharp, strangely enough, decided to go into doing shows at universities, and took was it Melina and what's her face? I don't know.
Melissa and Melina?
Possibly something like that. And then they put them in slutty outfits. It was actually horrible. But
What is this again?
Beautiful.
yeah, don't worry, it's not that interesting, Jesse.
I heard slutty outfits and suddenly
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's not a single bit of gameplay in that entire trailer. It was all lies. Mm-hmm. So yes, that's out. What else?
I don't know.
What else?
The Pacific Rim video game
for PlayStation 3.
PlayStation 3.
Yeah, that was rubbish.
Angry Birds Trilogy for
Vita.
PlayStation Vita.
Oh, thank God, there's something to play on the Vita. Like I can play on every other handheld devices. Hey. What else?
Champion Jockey, G1 Jockey, and Gallop Racer for PlayStation 3. Gallop Racer.
Hey.
Horses.
Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Oh!
Who Wants to Be a Millionaire for PlayStation 3?
Why are they making another one of those?
Is it 1999 again? Oh my God. Those are good times.
I used to love watching Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
I think the game's just asking the question to the publishers now.
Yeah. It'll sell.
Yeah,
It will sell.
Yeah. It's just Bobby Kotick just sat there and says, "Who wants to be a man?" I do. Presses the licensed button and.
Well, he definitely doesn't. He's like, "Who wants to be a millionaire?" It's like, "Oh, that's so beneath me."
Oh yeah, true. That's the whole cookie clicker thing. It's
Indeed.
not good enough anymore.
No, it isn't.
I don't actually know who publishes Who Wants to Be a Millionaire though.
It's probably for the best. I don't think that's important knowledge to have in this industry, quite frankly.
Another game called Tetrabot and Company came out.
Yes.
That I'm now looking at because
That actually looks interesting.
It looks like a point and click, sort of like you're moving your little guy around doing objective puzzles.
Yeah.
It's made by Swing Submarine, which is maybe like the best name for a dev ever. They made Blocks That Matter, which was actually pretty good.
Oh, Block That Matter was good.
Yeah. Let's see if I can get you a trailer for that. I do have code for this, but it is unfortunately also a puzzle game, so the likelihood of me actually playing it. Here's some early gameplay footage, actually, from their official channel. From Swing Submarine is a good name for a developer. If you're going to have a name, I think that's a solid one. Trying to figure out what exactly is happening here. There's an eyeball, and it's floating around, and it's going through pipes.
Pew. He's gotta eat all the swoopy swaps. It's like
Yep, that's right.
A real word.
It's it's like Pac-Man, but with robots.
It's a point-and-click puzzle game, essentially. He goes where you click on the screen.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But I'm seeing them click and, like, no cookies are being made, so I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, where are all the cookies, huh?
The village does not like your point-and-click puzzle game.
Why aren't we kicking the cookies?
It's a good question.
You can't.
One that may never be answered in this
cook
life.
the clickies.
So that's a thing. That's out. What else?
Sorry, God of War Ascension.
So that's just going on PlayStation 3 Network,
the last
right?
one for today, PlayStation 3, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's already out, but it's coming to PlayStation 3 Network for download. Why the fuck wasn't it there in the first place?
Because Sony.
Yeah, fair point. Wasn't that
Because
say, well,
Sony.
Beyond wasn't for download either, was it? I actually had to go to Best Buy and buy that.
It was the whole, they did this with when they had the PSP Go and tried to market that as a digital only, and stuff just wasn't coming out day and date, because they have a weird relationship with retail that's often sort of sticks its oar in and says, we don't like you doing that, so like, okay, we won't do the thing that we really want to do.
Yeah.
It's totally insensible.
Yep. So what else is coming out this week, Dodger?
Tomorrow, Bad Hotel for PC is coming out.
I have code for this, and I'm very confused about what it is. It was originally on iOS, and it seems to me like you have to build a hotel. It's also a tower defense game, so you have to attach weapons to your hotel in some way.
And all the comments they have are really like, this game is the best thing ever. I'm on
Really?
the website now trying to figure it out. Yeah, and I'm looking at the
This
screenshots.
is what it looked
I have
like.
no clue what's happening right now.
You
Okay,
build
so
a
it's
hotel, the seagulls trying to kill you.
Get out of here, seagulls.
I
Suck butts.
Like
you can crush the seagulls with your hotel. No, you can't do that. This is incredibly confusing. So the hotel makes money while it's alive, so one assumes you have to defend it in some way. Seagulls are crashing into the hotel to break the hotel. And it said something about being able...
birds?
I don't know. There are angry birds.
This is the Birdemic Simulator. It makes perfect sense.
Oh, God,
I'm never going to play that.
Yeah, that is out today. I don't know what the PC version is like. I will play it out of morbid curiosity. I have no idea what this is. I've skipped forward a little bit to see the weapons. Oh, there we go. There's now lasers on the hotel, which is defending the hotel in some way. I don't understand why this person is building it in such a way. It's a very odd design.
Maybe I don't know.
Maybe
The
there's a reason for it.
structural integrity of that thing is fucked.
It's very, yeah. I'm not convinced.
It's like a people hotel.
It's to me a
Got little
2-star
people
hotel.
legs.
And as you know, those of us in the YouTube industry will not accept anything less than 4. Yes, I'm none the wiser from that gameplay, I gotta say. I'll have to try and play it myself.
Bad Hotel. Cool.
Yep.
On October 17th, 2 days from now, we have Mighty Switch Force 2 for Wii U.
What shit is that?
Mighty Switch Force. I keep hearing the name and I have to assess I've never played it. Jim, any ideas?
If memory serves, it is a Way Forward game. I love the hell out of Way Forward. It is a game in which you are a person doing things. I've only played it very briefly. I'm trying to remember. It's a side scroller. It's very puzzle based. But it's cool. It's actually I played it when it came to the Wii U.
The trailer looks cool. Yeah.
Yeah, like it's very much you've got running and shooting and various block puzzles, and it's not bad at all. It can get pretty damn tricky, and I think you got to go around rescuing people and stuff.
I'll give you guys that link. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
The music sounds like it's a remake of Street Fighter 2's theme, which I'm okay with.
Yeah, I mean, Way Forward very rarely makes bad games. They do make bad games, but not usually. And Mighty Switch Force is a good one. It's a solid one. Mm-hmm. So the sequel, I'm assuming, is just as good.
Dodgy, you're very excited about something. What is that?
I'm dancing to the music on this video that
okay.
just
Isn't it
sent.
cute? Yeah, it's
I thought
very
you were
cute.
thrilled by the notion of Goodbye Deponia coming out on October the 18th.
Oh, Goodbye Deponia. It does look pretty good. I like the Deponia games though. I like point and click BS.
Deponia is like regarded as being pretty good, from what I've been told. Point and click's a mystery to me. I gotta attest.
I mean, every now and then they have something in the game. Every time they have something in the game where you're just like, what am I supposed to do? And you wind up going everywhere trying to figure out what it is exactly you're supposed to do to move on. And I hate that. But overall, I think that the last Deponia game that I played was really good. So yeah, this one looks good. It's for PC and Mac, and that's on the 18th. Also, Pool Nation for PC.
Oh, thank God. Pool Nation.
Are we looking it up, or should I move on? Do we want to see what Pool Nation is?
I'm going to try and look it up.
Okay.
There's a review of it. Apparently, it came out quite some time ago on consoles, and now finally has made its way to PC. One of the most requested titles. The only trailer appears to be on Machinima, which means it's covered in their fucking watermarks.
Good.
So I'm gonna credit Jamie Gray 83 for stealing his footage for this. Please don't tell me pointing the camera at the screen. It kind of looks like he did. It's okay. People won't notice.
No one will know, even though
No,
you
there's
just
actually
said
no
it.
point in even showing video of this because it's just fucking pool. Like, that's it. It's pool.
Amazing.
What am I supposed to show you? It's pool. So yeah, that's the thing.
Okay, and yes, that's it for the US until next time. But in
Is the EU getting anything?
EU on the 18th also has Sonic Lost World for Wii U and 3DS.
Are they getting that before us?
That one I've been playing.
When's it out in the US? or
Yeah,
what?
we get it the 29th, it looks like.
Really? That's quite surprising.
It's a little bit after, yeah.
Yeah.
All
right.
You also get.
I take it you're under embargo on that one.
I am under embargo, which I didn't know the first day, and started tweeting it.
Oh, it's
no.
wonderful when that happens, isn't it?
Yeah, damning it with the faintest of praise, which is me still breaking embargo to say that, but it's a Sonic game.
Alright. No, I won't push
Say
you for
no
any more
more.
information on that. But yes, it is out in the EU before it is in the US for whatever reason. I guess the EU likes Sonic. It's my conclusion. Yeah.
The UK is where they hold most of like Sonic conventions and shit. I went to one of those. Never go. I went to cover it for Destructoid. I spent an hour
Was it
in
as
there.
sticky as it sounds?
It was horrific. And the
dear.
worst part is there was a big, one of the entire walls was a mirror, and I realized in my head and heart I was better than everyone there. But when I look at myself sweaty and clammy in a mirror, I looked no different. And that's when I left.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, I'm confused by part of this list.
Okay, yeah, the
Because-
list is often confusing. Games release lists are rarely accurate. Like, there's a lot of weird stuff on them.
I'm confused because it says that in the EU, apparently, you still don't have Super Smash Bros. Brawl, Donkey Kong Country Returns,
Oh, right, okay.
or Mario
That stuff
Kart
will
for
be
Wii.
for the... that'll be an EU release on the eShop, basically.
Oh,
That's why
I
that's
was like,
there.
what?
Yeah, it's infuriating. Every time we get these release lists, I'm like, hang on a second, I'm pretty sure Super Smash Bros. Brawl's out. But yeah, it means that it's an
there's no
eShop
way
release.
that we've had it for this long.
Yeah.
And the
Actually-
EU doesn't have it.
By Nintendo standards, that's not too weird a thought. It took 2 years for Animal Crossing to come out after it went to the US, the first one.
What?
2 years. And the first, Super Smash Bros. Brawl was out like 6 months after...
That's insane.
Yeah, when I first started writing for Destructoid, I was still in the UK, and that used to be one of my biggest bugbears. Like, obviously, when I moved to the States, fuck it, I don't care anymore. Screw my countrymen. But while I was there, it was very frustrating, and it got to that point where it's like, because they'd also stop you from like importing it, like just legitimately buying legal copies imported.
Right.
And it's like you're withholding a game for 2 years. At that point, are you just asking to be pirated? Because you're telling people you
Pretty
don't
much.
want their money.
Yeah.
You know?
That's
There's
true.
the whole, we live in a global economy now, and,
Yeah.
and certain companies with this insistence on region locking and stopping imports,
They're digging
and
their
then
own
they
bloody
complain
grave.
about piracy.
Yeah. You know, if your game's not out for 2 years and I don't have a reasonable way of legitimately importing it and you region lock your fucking console, guess what? There's a perfectly good emulator. Screw you. And yes, my PC can handle it. It's a really bad idea. But yeah, anyway, that's the thing. So yeah, all of those, I believe, are just eShop releases. Don't worry, you're getting Valhalla Knights as well, but you've got to wait till the 23rd of October.
Oh, I'm playing. I've never owned a Vita. This might be my purchase for that.
Fucking hell.
I need to find a way to record that. That is instant internet.
Oh,
money.
good luck. Yeah, you have to get a modded Vita to do recording. Giant Bomb got one that basically, like, apparently converts the output to let you get actual feed from it.
I know
It's
enough
bad.
nerds that I can find a way to break one, hack it, and make videos of me touching girls by poking them.
I'm pretty sure you have to get one from Asia, those ones. Or get a dev kit. If you can get a dev kit, that's got an HDMI out.
Oh, that means I actually have to care enough.
Yeah.
Can I just crack one open and, like, put wires in it? That's how it works in the movies.
Yes, you can.
You could make money just from doing that. The question is, can you make more to replace the Vita?
In a white van, just hacking into the mainframe.
12 monitors.
Like, just monitors everywhere. Just, I got this.
All to play Valhalla Knights.
Oh,
Done.
goodness.
Genius.
It's worth it. Done.
Yeah.
The last 2 games for EU for this week are Air Conflicts Vietnam.
For PS3.
And for PS3, and Poke Park Pikachu's Adventure for Wii.
Thank God. Yeah. So
I'm excited about
another
that.
eShop thing.
Yes. So that's it for this week's releases.
Yep. Admittedly, I did just realize, by the way, the Vita TV would, of course, have an HDMI out because it has to plug into your television.
Yeah.
It's a perfect solution.
Knowing Sony, they would just find a way to block recording on it just because fuck you.
Well,
seems to
that's
be their
easy enough.
attitude.
HDCP, just whack that on there and hope for the best. And then
there'll be a way
stripper.
to fix it.
Yeah. Ouch. Yeah, that's pretty much it for the week's releases. Unfortunately, Phoenix Wright is not here yet, so 24th for that one. I do want it, very much so.
Oh, I got a fucking thing for that today.
A thing?
This is what happens with game journalists because we're basically
You got a fucking thing?
unpaid.
Another dildo?
This could be a fucking thing, actually. Depends how inventive you want to be.
Oh, I'm ready. That's amazing.
This is what you get if you're a journalist. Walking advertisements.
I'm jealous of your life.
Well, if you're IGN, you make a 2-minute video with that, right?
Yeah. I used to do videos with things like this just because, like, what else am I going to fucking do with them? But these days, I just kind of bin them. All right. At one point, there's a ton of just shit like this in my closet. I might just take it to an event and just throw them around at everyone.
Here
Just
you
fucking
go.
take this shit from
Oh
me.
no, Jesse.
Jesse's gone now, yeah.
Oh,
No,
no.
I'm here.
Well, Jesse does do big giveaways of swag. He just goes around expos collecting swag for 4 days and gives it all away.
It's
Yeah,
true.
I like the chase, and then it sits in a box until around
Yeah.
Christmas time. Then I'm like, guess what, guys? It's a giveaway. We'll have to do this again for another year. Ding.
I have a similar issue with Kickstarters. Like, I'm backing a Kickstarter because I want to see it succeed, and then when it comes out, I don't give a shit about it anymore.
Oh yeah, like Kickstarter stuff. I back it, take all that loot I get, put it in the box. Anything from like just stuff people send me that like companies are like, hey, will you check? I'm like, oh yeah, I'll check out your headphones in the box, right? Like I just.
My stepson gets a lot of my shirts because PR people, I'm guessing, think it's funny to send me smalls. So no use to me.
It's a hat. That's what it is. It is. It is kind of funny.
Are we done on time today?
We pretty much are, yeah. We are coming towards the end of the show. There is actually one last game that for some reason wasn't on the list because it's not a game. Stanley Parable. Stanley Parable is, I believe, coming October 17th.
The new trailer is amazing. The Raphael one. I haven't
I
seen that
have
before.
code for it, and I really don't know if I want to play it.
I've played a bit of it.
Oh,
I've not been given any embargo information, so I guess I could talk about it.
I think I was embargoed, or maybe they just think you're more important. They're right,
I think
but-
I got mine through another guy. He might have been embargoed and not told.
It's embargoed till
What
9 a.m. PST, October 17th.
Oops.
I didn't know that. Now I know it.
Yeah, so now you
I'm
can't
fucked.
do it.
Now I'm done. Which, and the only reason I really will stick to that is because the guy who makes the Stanley Parable is an utter delight.
Yeah, of course.
And I really would not want to, do anything that would upset the guy. But
Aw.
Yeah.
I can't tell you that I loved it.
Look, I must not watch any internet trailers because Kisuke's like, that's an old trailer.
Raphael
dummy.
is probably pretty old. Yeah.
Apparently it's old. Look, I don't care. It was the first time I saw it and it was funny. So I like that they make fun of a guy who wrote them a letter that was like, your game sucks. You know what? Good.
It's, I don't know, I'll probably play through it because I can't imagine it's all that long, but when I hear the term first-person exploration game, I immediately have flashbacks to Dear Esther, like it's post-traumatic stress.
So have you not played the original mod?
No.
Right. Definitely, if you don't play the mod, at least play HD, because I played Stanley Parable after I'd played Dear Esther.
Right.
And I still need to do a Jimquisition on this. I've been planning to, for over a year. I did do it. I'm terrible at being professional. I did do a video explaining exactly how the Stanley Parable is everything Dear Esther wishes it was.
Okay.
It does the one simple thing that a game like that needs is just include the player. Just let the player be part of your story. It doesn't change much else. It doesn't make it much more interactive. There's a little bit, but not much more. It's still mostly walking.
Sounds like Gone Home, then.
But very much so. It's basically a comedy gone home, but genuinely very funny.
Oh, it's funny. Okay, right. Well, I'm all over it now.
Yeah.
Then. Instead of it being pretentious drivel, I'm absolutely for that.
Actually, in many ways, it makes fun of that kind of drivel.
That's
it makes
cool.
fun of games that take agency away from the player. It's a game specifically about player agency, and
This
definitely
game was made for me. I'm all over this.
Play it once, play it twice. Chances are good you'll play it 10 times, because that's the kind of game it is.
Wonderful.
Awesome.
Cool, yeah, I'm over that. We should also remind people, by the way, that Megabyte Punch came to Steam today. It's been out for a little while, but it's been getting a lot of good buzz. I've played a bit of it, and for what I've played of it, it's pretty solid. It's kind of a side-scrolling brawler with a little bit of Smash Brothers in there with customizable robot parts. So you might want to have a look at Megabyte Punch. That is out as well. I think that's pretty much it. Unless you want to count... I guess we should probably just mention that Space Base DF9 came out, which is the new early access game from Double Fine. Apparently, they keep starting games. It's amazing, really. They've started 3 games, and they're still not done with any of them yet. But Space Base DF9, which is really hard to say, deliberately so, no doubt, is... They're claiming it's like a sci-fi dwarf fortress, which sounds fantastic, which means it'll probably be highly disappointing. But that's now... The early access version is now on Steam. It's the alpha.
Perfect.
Yeah. Alright, cool. That sounds like a good time to wrap up then. So, let's talk about what we've been playing this week, and what we're gonna be playing this week, and what you can find on
It's like, are we going all the way back to the beginning of the show?
Indeed.
Well, this week I've been playing Wolf Among Us, and...
Yeah, we're just gonna do that all again. I need more ad revenue. Sorry, rates are down, ad blocking's up, it's bad. Anyway, yes, we can tell you what is gonna be coming up on our channels and our various websites, because at least one person here actually has one of those over the next couple of weeks. So why don't we start with you, Jim? Where can we find you? What we're gonna see?
I'm such a whore. I am everywhere. I do reviews for Destructoid.com. You can go look at those. I have a couple of shows at The Escapist, escapistmagazine.com. My premiere show there is Jimquisition, which is a current affairs show. Jim and Yahtzee's Rhyme Down Spectacular, which is poetry with me and Yahtzee Croshaw from Zero Punctuation. And Movie Defense Force, which goes up every 2 weeks and is a movie review show defending bad films. And I've just started my own YouTube channel. It's only a little tiny thing at the moment. I'm gonna get 100 views on a video. And that's just started. It's just Jim Sterling. Just all one word. It's simple. And yeah, I've been doing...
not an I.
Just been, with an E. And I've been just messing around doing things on there. Like I uploaded a Blood Rain video this morning and...
Fucking Skype.
Oh no.
I don't know what's up with it. It was just, we've had all 3 of you drop.
I like that he was still going, too. It was great.
He'll be back. He'll be back. Give him a minute. Give him a minute.
Did I just get
Jim.
fucked?
Yep, you did.
Jim,
You got Chinese roomed.
Right in the middle of my sales pitch.
Indeed.
How far did I get?
You were saying about Blood Rain. You said you were about to do a thing about Blood Rain.
Okay, yeah, I've been playing Blood Rain and then Foul Play, and I did a video on Pokemon, which has not been doing too bad. But it's early days. I only just started it this weekend, so if you'd like to subscribe to that, I'd appreciate it.
YouTube.com/Jim Sterling for the subscriptions, folks. YouTube.com/Jim Sterling. Jesse.
And at Jim Sterling for Twitter, right?
Indeed.
Oh, yes. You can see my tweets. I'm there, all right.
Yeah. Okay. I recently followed you.
Yes, I followed you back. It was a wonderful moment.
It was.
Aww.
Very much so. Jesse, what you got coming up this week?
Finishing up Beyond Two Souls, where I play as Aiden, pretty much in character most of the time. More Outlast with Krendor. We actually did face cams because the nerds requested it. And
oh, God. Why?
I regret... Mostly because he's a dick, and most of the jump scares come from him jump scaring me by, like, rubbing my back. I'm like, what the fuck was that? It was
okay,
him.
now, you see, I'm okay with that because you're now adding to the experience rather than detracting from it. That's
We're in the
cool.
same
It's like a
room.
Muppets 3D kind of thing.
Oh, yes. Yes. We're the guys who sit in the balcony and just mock. And I'm trying to think what else. Cat Lady will be finished up this week. And then hopefully we'll get back to our normal schedule of Dead Space and Saints Row with Dodger and my homie G.
Woo!
And that's that. So yeah, all those fun things that I'm playing horribly for comedy, then, that exists.
Dodger.
Well, we did 4 days in a row, just put up all of Wolf Among Us. So if you want to go watch that, you can watch me play through all of that. I might play it again, I don't know. But we're also now focusing on finishing Testament of Sherlock Holmes, because it's been forever. So we're going to finish that up. Also still playing Off and Dead Space with that guy. And that's all on Press Heart. My other channel is Dexterity Bonus, where I do a daily vlog. So if you want to come hang out with me and watch my cats try to eat all my food, feel free. That's my life. You can find me.
Broken Promises is what that is.
You can find me at Dex Bonus on pretty much everything.
No.
What?
At Jesse Cox. Find me there first. She keeps getting closer to passing me. F that shit.
Yes.
Pass Jesse.
No, F that shit.
Unsubscribe, unfollow Jesse, follow Dodger. He'll be insufferable. It'll be brilliant.
Don't do that. I wish every success for Jesse, but I
That's
do want
the
to pass
only
him.
one.
So
I do not. Look, Dodger is weak. She's weak and thus not better than me. Unfollow her, follow me, and then when we reign over her, she'll have to listen to all of your comments and write letters back to you guys and fall in love with you, maybe.
I'm just finding out how many followers. Oh, 110,000. How quaint.
who?
Fuck you. Fuck you.
I have 108,000, almost 109,000.
No, stop it!
Ooh. Oh, ho, ho, ho.
If 1,000 of you watching right now
Unfollow Jesse.
No.
Follow
No.
Dodger.
you
Do
can
it.
catch up.
No,
Go,
she
go,
only
go,
tweets about
go,
us.
go,
It's
go.
She only tweets about her
wonderfully
cat.
childish.
She
Come
tweets
on.
about her
I
cat.
tweet about my cat. I tweet about food. I all caps about TV shows. Come to me.
No,
We could-
I don't
we
do
could
that.
be something great. We could be great together.
I sometimes say offensive things, maybe a little bit sexist, that's okay. And then I comment about how Dodger comments on stupid shit. Follow me instead.
I'm so happy I've only got 40,000, so I don't have to.
Yeah,
care.
why you'd want more followers, I don't fucking know. Yeah, you don't. Trust me, you don't. What am I doing? Well, every time I list a bunch of games that I'm looking at, people get disappointed when I don't do them. It doesn't mean I'm going to do a video on them, guys. I'm just looking at them. So, yes, Stanley Parable I will look at. I've now been convinced. I will look at the Stanley Parable. I will have a look at... I want to look at Space DF9 or whatever it is. Solstice Arena just popped up on Steam and is being called a MOBA again. So, I'll have a look at that. I play pretty much all the Dota-style games, so I'm okay with that. Just put out my video on Magical Wizard Wars. Talisman is finally out, so you can expect a very predictable video where I state the Talisman doesn't work in digital form. This just violently hitting
You guys
mic stand.
are fuckos. You understand that? Everyone in chat right now, I hate you so much. I kept refreshing my
They
my
unsubscribed,
Twitter,
didn't they?
and it kept dropping.
Yes!
And dropping.
Yes!
Promise,
Yes!
they didn't wait long enough for the joke to really hurt me, because then it just went right back up immediately. And I swear to God,
They couldn't stay. They couldn't
like,
stay away for that long. Disappointing.
It
is delicious.
Cried.
If you are unfollowing Jesse, then Uncle Sterling's got a nice home for you. I might as well. I'm just gonna be the hyena eating your carrion.
That's why you're here, man. You know, you've been sitting over the last 3 hours thinking, "What the hell have I done with my life?" You know, you might as well get some benefit from it.
No! God damn you! Shut the fuck up.
Oh my God.
Perfect.
Shut the fuck up.
Perfect.
I just lost 20 like that.
Yes.
Whoa.
Shut up.
Oh yes. Oh yes. Other stuff. Well, I've got a bunch of things. I don't even know if I could talk about what I just got sent, but it's fucking exciting. And you know, this is what I can read a little bit from the embargo though, which is fantastic. And this is the best embargo. Friendly reminder on direct feed capture guidelines, limited to 90 minutes total from the preview build. Only 90 minutes? Guys, that's a terrible thing. I remember Me, where they said 10 minutes. That's it. Or I think there was some other game which is like, was it actually Last of Us? Some people got an embargo where it was 5 30-second sections, and that was it. Yeah. These guys are like, yeah, 90 minutes.
The one for Beyond was like, for the reviews, was just use our B-roll, which was just that, it was just use our B-roll, and don't play it all in one go, only in pieces. And it was one scene.
Yeah.
Just one whole short scene, which we couldn't play in its entirety, and could only use that. So we ended up, for our video review, just cutting in like Willem Dafoe in Spider-Man and Jesus Christ and all that, just various Willem Dafoe movies.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Fuck it, no one
This is a
can
nice
tell the
NDA.
difference.
Yeah, this is a good embargo. These guys know what they're doing. I'm happy with that, and this is a major title as well. So yeah, good job, guys. I'll definitely abide by that and not burn any bridges today. So that's good. And yeah, content patch probably we're pretty much taking it to 4 days a week now, because I've come to the conclusion there just isn't enough bloody interesting news to actually do a 20-minute news show every day. So currently we're doing 4 and 1 sale box for the weekly Steam deals. So yeah, that's happening. And probably more Hearthstone, because I really like money and you guys keep watching the fucking things. So yeah, that sounds good. Let's do that.
That's such refreshing, cynical honesty. I like it.
It's like, I like playing Hearthstone. You guys keep giving me ad revenue for playing Hearthstone. I'm gonna keep playing Hearthstone until you guys get sick of it.
Go for it.
Jesse's just in tears. He's
Oh,
losing
looks
so
like
many followers.
Oh, what's happened, Jesse?
Oh shit.
They keep dropping.
I can see this as the next David Cage game. Just Jesse Cox watching his Twitter followers go down, and you just flick the analog stick to wipe away tears. So emotional.
Great time to sign off, I think.
I'm
Fuck you guys. Fuck you guys. You know what? You're all assholes, and your parents didn't raise you right, and I hope you get hit by a fucking car, because screw you.
Whoa! Whoa!
You fucking suck.
You've been watching the Co-optional Podcast.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for watching, folks. Please do follow us on Twitter and on the YouTubes, because we need the ad revenue, and Jesse really, really needs it now. There's no question about that. Thank you very much. You've been a fantastic audience. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye.
Bye.